Hello, what it do? I can get started in a second. Just getting some things lined up and some small things lined up here. Getting back to YouTube streaming. It's been a minute since I've been here, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. Also live on Twitch too. Getting back to dual streaming essentially. So for those of you that's here right now, I appreciate you like no other. Yes sir. What's up KT? I see you, big fella. I see you. I'm gonna need to get the thing where it has both YouTube and Twitch's chat here. So that'd be great. Yep. We here. Yeah, I was gonna go live yesterday. But I got sickaroo buckaroo. I won't say I was sick, but I was just kind of just omega tired, you know what I mean? Like just omega tired. I was out of there, man, no lie. I was out of there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just chill and just try to get some stuff done. Yeah, I trust. I was on my way, but I wanted to get the video with Hotaru out the way. I have a lot to talk about with Fatal Fury. The tournament run was extremely fun. Rough in some cases, mostly just cause, you know, I know how to feel about online tournaments. But you know. Set this up here. Alright, we're setting this up here on the Twitch. Hello YouTube. Just holding us. What's up, Big E? Training mode is subpar and the menu's kind of jank, but gameplay is great. Yeah, here we go. Let me switch over here. It's time to talk. We've been live a good like 5 minutes. It's cool. Hello, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm feeling better than I was yesterday. So I can actually communicate with people. But I've been in the lab. I've been in the content lab, just working on stuff like heavily. What's good? chilling. Just been in the content lab, man. Just grinding stuff out, making sure things are good. So I definitely wanted to be here for you guys. Is this swap over? Let's swap over. There we go. Aha. So I'm back on both Twitch and YouTube. So it that's what I'm looking for. Feels good. feels good. But good to see you. So Big E. The training mode. Oh man. I guess I have a lot to say. What's up, C4? I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. So you guys know here on both Twitch and YouTube, I put in the Discord that I'm going to be dual streaming the coffee talks on Twitch and YouTube. So basically I don't want my VODs for this stuff to go to waste. It's a lot to chop it up, so I'm gonna make sure everything stays on the YouTube and Twitch, but primarily the YouTube. It needs to be there. So from this day forward, all the coffee talks, if you just want to watch it raw, live, you know, or live or whatever, it's always gonna be on the YouTube. So if you miss one, you know where to go catch it. I will at some point chop them up and make them into videos, separate videos, like I've been doing in the past. But that's neither here nor there. It's gonna happen. That's the bottom line. It's definitely gonna happen. So you don't gotta worry about that. Let me see, where are we? So that's gonna be that moving forward. I think from there's some more things I'll be uploading. You know, like I said, tournament runs will be getting uploaded for City of the Wolves. Whatever I do, I'm just trying to get it up here as quickly as possible. Hopefully next day, if at all possible. Yeah. So I think that's mostly it for YouTube. Mostly. Just gotta take advantage of all my stuff. I know I have a bad habit of being late to the party, but I'm here nevertheless. Okay, so City of the Wolves. Let me get to talking about that. Let me get here, start talking about it straight away. And I'm gonna lower the music just a little bit because I know the music's kind of loud, it seems like. Hopefully not too loud, I don't know. I'll check the VODs later. Skip through here. Okay, City of the Wolves, let's talk about it. Beta 2. I think City of the Wolves Beta 2 was infinitely better than the first one. The first one was good to be able to play the game finally at the crib and not just at a trade show, having to wait at a line, go through, play multiple times, you know, have an XYZ amount of time. Having more an intimate time playing is nice. Training mode was good because you can finally mess with your character, kind of understand how they operate, learn a thing or two, get into online. Cool. Matchmaking, way better. Like way better. Like I can find games, what have you. The very first night it was very difficult, mostly because I mean it's late night and you know I live in the Central Time, so I think that was like midnight for like West Coast and like what 2 a.m. for me. Yeah, 2 a.m. for me, and then like 3 a.m. for East Coast. So it's like it's super late at night to try to get games. People are already tired. I think they should have released it earlier on, but I get it, you know, whatever, right? But the next day, I was able to get a lot of games. Obviously, here on the YouTube in particular, you're able to see I had like a win streak or whatever from playing a lot of people back to back, which was nice to get a consistent flow of games. So that was nice. So the matchmaking definitely was working. They definitely fixed it. What's up, Ukio? What must be improved upon now? What should be added? City of the Wolves? I'll talk about that in a minute. This is dope, seeing 2 different chats. It's kind of cool. I'm like, Twitch chat, YouTube chat, Twitch chat, YouTube chat. All right, but I'll get it to the point to where I can see both chats all at once. So yeah, for you guys, once again, I'm live on both Twitch and YouTube. You know, so if you want to support either or, it doesn't matter. With that being said, I think matchmaking was fine. Obviously, as you got better and you climbed the rank ladder, it got harder to find matches, according to a lot of other people. I stopped at like B3. Yeah, B3. I was gonna go all the way to the top and see how far I can get the win streak going, but then I just got into lobbies with friends again like I did the last time, and it was like, all right, cool, we're here. And I played a lot of good people, which on YouTube you guys are gonna see more. For example, I had played some sets with, you know, Kizzy K. I played some with Scar, if you guys know about Scar. He's a good close friend of mine, the Mortal Kombat player. Mortal Kombat Pro. And most of you guys know Sonic Soul as well. And me and Sonic Soul played 2 long sets, so I'll most likely get those up on the YouTube very, very soon. So be on the lookout for those things. But with that being said, yeah, I didn't really play ranked as much after that, you know. Just played sets with people, played very, very long sets and some long sessions with people in the lobbies. I think the lobbies were great and they work very, very well. I think the lack of the training mode setup was bad because you needed to have someone to go in the training room with you. I think it's already close to Street Fighter where you can play the, you know, the lobby's nice. It's just let me do the training mode stuff while I wait. It's there, but it seems like it's just not functional yet. You know, you're a fan of long sets, I'll trust. You're gonna see. The set me and Sonic Soul played 2 super duper long sets. They were really fun. I think Sonic Soul has an extremely good Jenny, and I can't wait to see what he does on full release. Really cool playing him and seeing what I saw. Yes, I played Hotaru the whole beta. I didn't really play too many other characters. I did play some Mai because I am a Mai player in other games, but I think she's good. With that being said, I think just the functionality of the game is good. Yeah, people have complaints about the menu being a little laggy. I do still think they can make it so where your mouse pointer, because I play on PC, so they should make it where your mouse just works. Having the in-game cursor still feels a little odd. Just, if it's gonna be that way, then make it so I can, like, when I click here, it goes here. When I click here with my, when you hit left and right on your controller, it goes up and down. It's like a regular menu. You should be able to, navigate easier that way. It not being that way still feels a little off, but pick one. Either you let me navigate normally like a normal game, or you let me use my mouse cursor. I don't know, something. I just think, like, it's not that hard to implement that, I don't think. But I see them just trying to be unique with it, so I get it. They came out with the patch out of the first day of matchmaking. It was great after. I see. I wasn't aware of that, Biggie. I thought it just worked. But good to know. Let me see what else. I think the lobbies still need some work in terms of finding things. It's just the function, like, the game's in a good place. It's just the functionality of the UI is still kind of clunky. Could use a little work. But, like, once you get past all of that and start playing the game is sick. The game is dope as hell. I think this is probably one of the better fighting games that's come out in a while. But few things I do like, I don't talk about the lobbies, is like you're able to, like, change, like, first to 5, first to 10 or whatever. It goes up to 10 or whatever. That's totally okay. I do like you can change that on the fly. Not having to remake the lobby, that's perfect. I appreciate that for a fighting game. Online, the rollback is definitely good. I thought it was already good before. I think as time goes by, it's gonna get better with patchwork. I think overall it's solid. Like, it's not Street Fighter 6 good, but I would say I think it's not Street Fighter 6 good, but better than Guilty Gear Strive. Because I think Tekken is kind of sort of worse than this game. Kind of. But when it rolls back, for sure. For what it's worth, for you guys that don't know, especially on YouTube side, I have fiber internet, right? Shout outs to AT&T. But I don't know. My experience with connections has been pretty good, even in the tournament. The tournament run, I had maybe 1 or 2 connection issues with some rollbacking here and there. But I think, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely a gigantic baby when it comes to online tournaments. Like, I just can't stand rollback happening in a competitive environment. But for what it's worth, it still functions well when everything's working, which is every other fighting game. So I think that's okay. What else? Let me see here. So I think that's it about the lobbies. 12-man lobbies is really good, especially for tournaments, in my opinion. 100% have a mouse cursor. You should be able to use it on the mouse on PC. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You think there should indicate if you're on Wi-Fi or LAN connection? Honestly, yes, because Wi-Fi players make stuff worse. Biggie, I'm not a fan. Like, I don't mind playing Wi-Fi people, because I play a lot of Wi-Fi connections when I play Street Fighter, just because, like, in my head, right, as a competitive player, it's just like, well, whatever, I'll just play you. You know what I mean? The points, while relevant or not irrelevant, is just getting better at the game is important, right? So it's like, okay, but having a Wi-Fi indicator is very important, because there are people who just don't like playing Wi-Fi connections. So yes, they should add that. What's up, Black Ace? I see you, big dog. My man's on the YouTube side of things. Okay, big dog, I see you. What else? Yeah, I think for the most part, it's in the right place. The menu could have bigger text on certain things. I think those things could happen. But more or less, I think the game, from a functionality standpoint, is there. And they're doing a great job so far. I think all these things can be improved upon as the game on post launch. It's fine. I don't care about that. I didn't find the time to try beta 2. I was curious they're gonna leave Red Bull the way it is. Watching folks, it's fine. Rev Blow is fine the way it is for right now. They don't need to adjust it. It'll end up being one of those situations where, like, if they listen to the community and pull like a Tekken, because right now, Tekken, but it's kind of like Drive Impact, right? People were complaining about it in the beginning in the betas, and then the game fully came out. No one complains about DI anymore. It's not a thing. You know what I mean? What's up, Triz? I see you, big dog. We're spoiled Street Fighter 6 training mode. Okay, there's that. I do. Okay, let me talk about training mode, since people know I'm a training mode monster, right? So when it comes to training mode, Street Fighter 6 is the standard now. I think Guilty Gear Strive has a good one. I think most of the training modes of the current fighting games are pretty good. I don't know why they opted to continue to use the KOF 15 and Samsho training mode. I have no clue. I think they probably did it because it works and it's more quote-unquote customizable. But I think just have it to where you can select things. Oh yeah, and Tekken is good too. I forgot. Yeah, Street Fighter 6 definitely holds number one because of the frame meter. The frame meter is the best thing that ever happened to fighting games in terms of frame data. Straight up. Ukyo, what about Ronaldo's presence? There was a lot of criticism, but as any move, there's positive and negative side. Must risk a bit in the business, I think. I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with Ronaldo being in the game. I think the problem is, right, in that regard, Ukyo, is people's issue is like they just don't want to see things be good, or they have a point of contention where, well, if it's in the game, I'm just not gonna buy it because I don't support Ronaldo, or I don't support this, or I don't support that. And it's like, well, you're causing a stir mostly because these are the kind of people who don't want to see the game succeed. So the goal is to filter them out, literally filter them out like a freaking, you know, like me, I don't like orange juice with pulp, right? So I use a filter, right? I use a pulp filter and get that shit out of there. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's the way you gotta treat them. Just filter them out. Like, you'll have people like me who are positive about it and just like, I'm more of I'll give you an example, Ukyo. I like Bleach Rebirth of Souls, right? And there's some other content creators who I'll relieve nameless for now, for the sake of not to cause any trouble, where they legit started the game and acted like the game wasn't working and stuff like that. It's like, oh, see, it doesn't work, this, that, and the other. Oh, I can't find any games. It's like, you're doing this on purpose. You mean to tell me you don't know how to work a PS5 controller? Is that what you're telling me? In 2025, as a content creator on YouTube, more or less, you can't use your controller? Is that what you're really trying to tell me and your audience, that you can't use a controller? A PS5 controller. You have all these other videos of these other games which you're using the same controller. But for some reason or another, this game in particular, Bleach Rebirth of Souls, magically makes your controller not work. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Good job. You've earned the stupid award of the year. Good job. Like, that makes no sense. But when you think about like what's happening with Ronaldo in particular, right? It's good that he's in the game because it shows that like it shows that the creativity surrounding fighting games and gaming in general isn't just crossover characters. We can have celebrities be here. Now, I get it. Maybe to some degree, it's like, oh, well, the celebrity being in the game is like ad placement. I saw that in some of my couple of my comments about Ronaldo. It's like, oh, it's like an ad placement. It's like, well, look at everything, right? All right, Ryu. All right, let me do this right away. Ken and Chun-Li being in City of the Wolves is a direct advertisement for Street Fighter 6. Terry and Mai being in Street Fighter 6 is a direct advertisement for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. What's the problem? Oh, well, Ronaldo is insert all these negative things. Yeah, but the amount of Capcom heads that don't like Fatal Fury and don't care about Terry Bogard and don't care about Mai, you know, but they're still in the game. It's not about those players who don't like it. It's about showing it's about showing signs of good faith in business with these people and these corporations, these companies, so that we can have more cross-pollination. Because the reality is, a lot of Capcom people, and as long as I've been playing, they love SNK characters. They're just not Capcom characters, right? There's a reason why Capcom vs. SNK 2 is heralded as one of the best 2D fighting games of all time. But the irony about that game is, a lot of people love that game, but won't play King of Fighters to save their life. And you know why? There's no Ryu, there's no Ken, there's no Chun-Li, there's no Guy, there's no Maki. Where is my freaking, you know, Rolento? Where is my Cody? Where is my, I don't know, where's my Ken and Kanzuki? Where's my Zeku? Where is my Irian? Where is Remy? Where is Makoto? Where is Dudley? You know what I'm saying? When you think about that, it's like, so you like these kinds of games, you just don't want it to be made by SNK. So that's where you get those kinds of people that we're talking about with the Ronaldo thing, you know? Triz, they want to hold an excuse not to play the game, for sure. People hate when a game comes out and it is good, but aren't necessarily vibing with it, so they gotta fabricate narratives. Oh, 100%. Like, that's why, like, I'm doing these coffee talks now here on YouTube and not I would normally do, and like kind of chop them up. I'm still gonna chop them up, but the point I'm trying to make here with that is, like, there needs to be more people who are like me, who are willing to speak out against those things and show, not really speak out against it entirely, but to show the positive side. Because for those of you here on YouTube that are new here, don't really see me streaming here as much, but what I tell my stream on Twitch all the time is, like, I'm trying to be one of those pillars in the fighting game community where, like, you can trust and be like, okay, this guy spreads positivity about these things and not negativity about it, because we get enough negativity all over the board in fighting games. Like, it's like people say they want certain things, but then they don't know what they want. And that's a video topic I've had for like a hot minute now, and I talk about it on stream, but I don't do full-on videos about it, but I should. But the point is, people say they want a lot of different things, or they don't want this, and then what they want, then what they don't want, and they spend a lot of time doing that, and then what ends up happening is you get a hodgepodge of stuff, and then you don't really get what you want out of the fighting games, right? And as someone that's been playing for a long time, the irony here is, I've said this a lot about these games, I've experienced this already coming from CVS2 and older Guilty Gear, going into Street Fighter 4 era was Guilty Gear Strive, not Guilty Gear Xrd, which is still my favorite. The Blaze Blues and stuff like that, that era of those games, right? I thought those were pretty good. But those people who started with Street Fighter 4, Marvel 3, and stuff like that, now they're moving into these other games, Street Fighter 5, then Street Fighter 6. Oh man, I'm so happy that you think about it like this, and I just talked about it. Well, I said on topic with City of the Wolves, but the point is, you know, they were happy when games like CVS2, Third Strike were made easier for Street Fighter 4 and Marvel 3, right? And then, you know, these are their hard games. And then the cycle continues. They go to Street Fighter 5 and that era of games, oh man, this is too easy and da-da-da-da. No, they did that with Street Fighter 4 and Marvel 3 in the games of that era already. Each era of games, they try to make things easier for more people to play the games. This isn't new, right? Now Street Fighter 6. it's like the cycle just keeps repeating itself. Now the 5 players like, oh, they made this too easy. So it's like the previous gen just keeps doing the same thing the new gen does. It's without fail. It's all the same. Nothing in this regard changes. But they're all made as of direct correlations to what people want and don't want in the games. So now that's why I'm at the point now of like, I'd rather just the devs come up with a solid game plan and trust in their vision and use some community feedback. Not all, but some. This way you show signs of good faith and listen to the community, and at the same time stick to your guns, which is why I think Street Fighter 6 is so successful. The point is, so many money, but SNK is owned by Saudi friends. He was probably like, I want to play Ronaldo in this game, make it happen. Probably. Can anyone with the beta files please message me? Whoa, chill. This is not the place for that. Don't please. If you're looking for beta files, you should have got the game beforehand. I'll tell you, big dog. But let's not talk about that. That's not good. But developers are doing a hell of a job with the gameplay. I'll support them. Not necessarily a cash grab narrative for Ronaldo. No, it's not. A lot of people are saying that. And I'll say this about Ronaldo real quick, because I did notice some things that were said about him. Like I said, in my comments and like other things about him his inclusion. They're like, oh, this isn't impactful, this isn't this, and this is that. It's like, you just got to remember, like, they're doing different things with fighting games to try to appeal to different audiences, and it's no longer just crossover games and guest characters from crossover games. It's now, let's include celebrities. And some people think that, like, his kit's not creative, and I'm like, how much do you want to bet that Ronaldo sat down with SNK and the developers to try to figure out how he's going to play? There's no way that they didn't do that, you know? Then also getting his likenesses correct, you know, because it is what it is. It's still good that they got that going. And if whether or not a Saudi prince paid for it to happen is irrelevant. It's in the game and it's cool. Like, imagine if they put, like, you know, rest in peace Kobe Bryant in Street Fighter. Who wouldn't want that? Or they put Michael Jordan in Street Fighter. Or let's go back to Lupe Fiasco when he beat quote unquote Daigo. What if they put him in the game? Would you be upset at that? It's a rapper in Street Fighter. What's the problem? Or how about, hey, Lil Wayne helped with the advertising of Street Fighter 6. How about we put him in Street Fighter 6? It's always going to be met with some kind of, like, controversy. It's going to be met with some kind of... It's not going to come easy, essentially. You know? See what I'm saying? I'm tired of seeing Ronaldo tweets no cap. Yeah. You're late. Time to go to YouTube live. We'll ask you about that later. No, you're not. But hey, the beauty part is now, Shiko, is it's there now. I think that's the beauty part. So, like I said, I'm gonna keep this up moving forward. But to come back to it, yeah, I got no problem with Ronaldo. I'm more interested in the rest of the roster that's coming out. We're like 3 weeks out from the game's launch. So, you know, you'll expect expect things from me to coming soon with, like, guide work and stuff like that. Hope you guys get better. And learn more about the game. So, where are we at? Dong Juan for sure, yes. So all in all, I would give the beta, at least if I had to grade it, I'd give it like a B plus. Maybe even an A. Like, an A is high praise, but the only reason why I even want to give it an A is because they fix matchmaking and the lobbies work very well. It might be a little cumbersome in terms of how you get there, but I found it very easy to just add your friends from friend requests and just send them a direct friend request as opposed to giving them the room number. The room number seems to work, but doesn't. It kind of sends you in between a bunch of different rooms that also have the same code. So it's kind of like Guilty Gear Strive had the same problem. So I think it's just easier to just invite a friend, but they also can make invites a little bit easier by the user code. Like, make it easier for us to copy and paste it instead of having to type it, if at all possible. That'd be great. You know, they fixed that shit quick because day one was not good. Next day saw 0 complaints. Yeah, finding match was quick. The time for the only 10 characters at launch to scale discussion. Not yet. Triz, I have so much for that. I don't know if that's today. I might do that tomorrow and roast them a whole new one. I might. Do you think replay takeover should be a standard now? Absolutely. Biggie, 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. Yes. Because it's the best way to get better, in my opinion. In 2025 and beyond, the best way to get better at fighting games is not only the training room, but replay takeover. If you did a bad combo, you did a bad move, you know, you made a bad decision, you can check now your decision making and be like, man, if I DP'd here, or if I did this combo, or if I did this here, or if I read the situation, you can do that now. That theory crafting of what you can do better, right there. No need to record and use recording and playback in the training room. You don't need that anymore. That's turning into a dated strategy to get better. I agree. Fair enough. It's a big discussion. It is. Trust me. Today would be a good day to talk about it, but I want to prepare materials for that. Because it is a topic of discussion for sure, Triz. I think SNK might add replay takeover later. I don't think it's something they're gonna launch with, to be honest with you. I don't think so. I don't see it being launched. I think it's gonna be added later. Right now, all I care about is a great launch for City of the Wolves. I want to support it as much as I can, and there's a lot of people who also want to support it, not just me. Oh, that sucks. The hell? No, my tea got cooked. Rip. Something fell on my tea. Rip. That's it for me. Hope there will be enough single player content for some time for Save the Wolves. I'm not good at online play, so I wish there'd be support and updates for some years. I'm pretty sure that there will be updates. I think for single player content, I think that's where I have to be transparent. I kind of draw the line for fighting games because they're competitive games and they're meant to be played against people. I think the story mode and whatever extra mode they're gonna have will probably be okay. I'm not sure, but I'm mostly in it for the competitive aspect. It's not that I don't support the single player modes. I want people to enjoy the fighting games however that like, you know, they choose. If you choose to play by yourself and play the CPU, that's fine. That's okay. If you like just supporting the games, playing them by yourself, playing just amongst friends, that's fine too. What's up, Nash fan? I enjoy this game more than KOF because it's more grounded and short hop is toned down. Sure. What's up, Nash fan? Good to see you, big dog. But like, I like World Tour mode for casuals. And, you know, I hate saying casuals so much because casual could be anything. But for players, I don't know how to put this. Fighting game enthusiasts is how I feel about like World Tour mode and single player modes. Those are the fighting game enthusiasts, the ones that don't really care much to play people. You know, like that's fine. I don't know. I just feel casual. Just it's not a negative connotation, but I feel like casual because I don't know, because it's also casual try hard. Then that's why I don't like the word casual. but I just hope that there is enough to keep people interested, right? I think as long as you have fun with it to whatever capacity, even just playing friends or just playing online in like some lobbies, that's fine. I feel like as long as you find enjoyment with the fighting game, however you see fit, that's cool by me. I don't really care. I think everyone should find a way to have fun with the product. So with that being said, true. I guess I hope so too. On paper, this is a better game than Street Fighter 6 with the mechanics to get rewarded for defense. I don't like comparing the games, but I understand where you're coming from. And the reason why I don't like comparing the games is because like it turns into a war. Like I try my hardest to not be in that position and take stances like that, because like then it starts this weird divide when the goal for those two games is to merge or like coexist, right? I want both titles to coexist, but I understand why you would say that. Like you could make a sound argument for why, because everyone loves defense, like especially nowadays. Yeah. I was in the Tekken patch. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. You know, I feel like it's a negative sometimes for real. It's just a competitive catch for real. I got you. In terms of single player modes, yeah. Reward for defensive mechanics shouldn't be the only metric for a game being better than the other. Yeah. I think like I like Street Fighter 6 personally. It has its issues like any other fighting game. I think it's like I said before, like people, how the games are designed are in a lot of ways to be more action oriented and kind of get you in the mix a lot quicker. You know? Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think I don't know how to explain it, but like I like both games. I don't hate either one, but if I had to say, if I kind of lean a little bit more towards the Wolves because it's more of what I'm used to, right? I like both games. You know, I like both games. I think defense is good in both games, but I think City of the Wolves definitely rewards you more. Mostly because JD and hyper defense changes the game, which I do want to talk about that next. You know, I feel like What's up, Mikey? What's going on, fella? I'm loving this, man. This is it's kind of neat. I'm loving the YouTube side and the Twitch side. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. It is good to have both audiences. This next YouTube guys, I'm gonna get the chat set up to where I can see both your comments in like one shot. I have both y'all open up in 2 different screens. Don't ask me why. I mean, I have a command center for a layout, so don't mind me. Right. The offense is great too. Breaks and feigns combo extensions. Yeah, I feel like when it comes down to both offense and defense in City of the Wolves, I personally, okay, let me speak on this. I've been wanting to talk about it all weekend. Let me talk about it right now. I will tell you a big reason why I love Just Defend and why I think guard cancel and Just Defend is super good in this game. So, as you guys know on YouTube, you know, I've mentioned countless times, I'm a CVS2 player through and through. I love that game. I played K-Groove. It's probably the most broke groove in the game, next to A-Groove. It would be broken if A-Groove was not there. It would be the best, free. A-Groove is the only thing that keeps it in check. With that being said, a lot of the approach and how you play CVS2 is very similar to this game. In addition, Mark of the Wolves is also very similar too, right? The only difference is some characters have dashes, some characters have runs in City of the Wolves versus Mark of the Wolves and CVS. CVS, you always run. Mark of the Wolves has some dashes too, but still, I guess somewhat similar, I guess, right? But like what you're doing a lot of the time in the game is trying to utilize Just Defend and Hyper Defend to help deal with matchups in situations like this, right? In situations of the sort, right? So the meta game is going to surround a lot on how you utilize those options. So blocking is important too, but then it turns into, like, in my opinion, like Guilty Gear, or even old, you know, Mark of the Wolves, or even if you want to say Third Strike, if you will, where like you learn how to, you know, red parry, or in this game, hyper defend situations, which is why I feel very indifferent about characters like Kane, where like right now they're like, yo, he's the best character in the game, but I'm like, you know, if you learn how to hyper defend, those multi-hit normals are gonna get cooked. Which is why I've been preaching, not here on YouTube but on Twitch, that hyper defend command grab is super strong, because it does give you a hard knockdown with, say, Box, Hotaru, all those characters with command grabs all get combos. You know, T-Zoc gets a 720 or 360 and you get rewarded, right? There's also a Dragon Punch break, so DP break with like Rock, Terry, etc., where like it turns like multi-hit normals might end up being a Bill, and they're multi-hit normals so that he can maintain his charge for his flash kick to do pressure. So I feel like because he can't cancel the first hit of his normals, or the big like close C, close D, close C is 2 hits, close D is 3 hits, that lets him charge. So it's like once you learn how to do that, then things change. Because what I'll tell you guys now is when I played the set with Sonic Soul, backdash into EX Harrier or B Jenny's EX dive kick, right? I would count the hits and look for the third hit and hyper defend into command grab and punish. It's the same thing with her dive kick, all that. So like there's going to be a lot of situations where you need to learn how to do stuff like that. Like this is very similar to Mark of the Wolves, City, so similar to Third Strike in terms of red parry, CVS2 in some cases, you know, and in others, right? There's situations where JD gives you more life. So as you guys know, watching on YouTube, Twitch don't know what JD is, that's Just Defend, right? So Just Defend and Hyper Defend. Hyper Defend is when you block and you push forward and do what you need. JD is when you tap back, right? And you block. So Just Defend, you would Just Defend to build your life back and then guard cancel the Just Defend to do damage. This is a common thing in CVS2. Like if you're fighting like Blanca and Blanca does roll cancel in your face electricity, if you have the timing down, which is a very common timing that he would do it, right? You Just Defend, get your life back, right? You get your meter up, etc., etc. And in this case, you get life back, your rev gauge goes down, and you can guard cancel at any time, right? So once you understand what you can, you know, say for example, hyper defend to get life back, and then start JDing to get your life back more, you can pick and choose how you want to go about this, which means And the situations where your rev gauge is gonna go up and you opt to like, well, I can't do this, right? HD, just defend, get your life back, drain the rev gauge a bit, and then do your option. Or 0 frame. Like, that's pretty huge. You know? What's up, Jordan? Let me see here. I've been having trouble with breaks feints, but I never mess with them like that in Garo either. I got by okay for the most part. Started to feel more comfortable with Hotaru on the last day. I feel you. Good ass character. Good ass character. I think a lot of people right now in the game, in the beta, were getting away with just generic play. But like, when you start to understand how the JD meaties change, how people meaty you changes, they can't just meaty you for free. They have to start throwing you more. They have to start doing other things to throw off your JD, because you can JD OS throw, which is just like third strike, op select, parry, throw. So like, it's not like these things don't exist. They're already there. They're already there. They've been there. So I've just been utilizing all those concepts that I was already using in CVS2 and Mark of the Wolves already in the game. And I've already found a lot of success with it, especially in this beta, because I had training mode, so I can practice JDing and hyper defending certain things. The only thing that has thrown me off recently is the dodge attacks, because I lost to a rock doing mash rev blow, and I just wasn't ready for it. He caught me off guard. It is what it is. Now that I know to use the dodge attack to stop that, so okay, cool. Now I'm ready. I don't have to rely on SPG. Moving for a rich boy, can you get knocked out of SPG and get it back if you get help back from a JD? Yes. It's like that even in Mark of the Wolves. Mark of the Wolves is the same. So like, man, there's so much to say. It's like, if you're playing in neutral, right? Let's say guys are throwing, like, this is why I tell people when you're playing Kane, I just chuckle and they're like, yo, I'm zoning. Schwarz flame, Schwarz flame, Schwarz flame. You know, river dancing, Schwarz flame. I'm just gonna just defend full screen and just get my life back. You can keep throwing throw all the fireballs you want at me. I'm just gonna get my life back and just drain my rev gauge. I'm cool with that. Feel free, have fun. Have at it. I'll just sit here and do this. Like, there's things you can do in neutral that don't require you to attack, but can help you drain your rev gauge, you know, and turn the tide in situations. What's my view of the current character balance in Super Wolves? T-Zoc changed some rules. Balance? T-Zoc is clearly unfinished, but the nerfs that they did to the current roster, minus Mai, is okay. Terry needed some clear readjustments. EX burn knuckle in the crack shot was, I'm just gonna be honest here, that's pretty damn egregious. And it had, from what I gather, it had variable frame data between +2 to +4. So it's like, come on. So they took that away from a skill check that required you to hyper defend, which I think is fair. He has more gaps, but I mean, his damage output ain't really that much different. So to me, Terry is fine. Rock is still okay. Like, Terry and Rock are just designed to be just really good for like fundamental play, which is fine. Rock's even trickier than that. But I think, personal opinion, from playing, I know you can punish it. That's what I'm saying. The gap was necessary. So what I'm saying is that, like, prior to that, right, in beta 1, no, there was no gap in beta 1. No gap. That's what I'm saying. It was a skill check, and the skill check was you had to hyper defend the crack shot or the burn knuckle. But the problem is he just decided to throw it out randomly. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Not to mention they nerfed Terry's heavy crack shot. It doesn't hit as high up anymore. Thank God. That was kind of silly. But I think in this beta they made hyper defense easier. I think they opened it by a frame. And then JD seems about the same, but they opened up the cancel window for guard cancels and 0 frame. And even then, that's not safe either. EX Power Wave is not safe either. That's not safe either. There's still a gap there too. Both of them can still get punished if you do EX Bird Knuckle into Power Wave. That's not safe. None of his cancel options from Burn Knuckle are safe. I checked all that. You don't think I checked that? No. No more knowledge checks. None of that. That character, like, I'm telling you, there's a lot of situations where, like, there's way more gaps in things. All the characters have more gaps. All of them. It isn't just Terry, it's everybody. Rock has gaps, but they're harder to, like, the problem with Rock is EX elbow into EX Reppuken. You have to catch the second hit of the EX elbow. And you need to be on point. And then you punish him. Yeah. It's not Hotaru, so it's time to execute. I mean, I missed it when I played previously in some of my matches, but I do think it's not, well, it's good to, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it's good to know what you can do. Whether or not you can do it in a match, that's always remains to be seen, of course. Doing execution, the combo falls short. Well, I mean, I did it in tournament. I did it when I played Sonic Soul. I just need to do it when it's time against other people. I think with enough practice, you can punish a lot of these things in the game. You just have to know. You have to react. But there's clear tells. That's the thing. There's clear tells. Like, Kane is clear tells. Like, Kane having 2-hit moves at special cancelable on the second hit. Like, yeah, in theory, it's easy. In practice, it might not be. But the neat thing is if you miss that one, which in a lot of ways you shouldn't, because it's always the same timing. There's some situations where the timing is the same. That's the thing, is the timings are the same. If it wasn't for the timings being the same, I would say that, like, in some cases, yes. So characters with multi-hitting normals, I think those are the ones that might have trouble as the time goes on. You know? EX crack shot needs buffs, no words. But that's what I'm saying, like, I don't have a problem with this because I think, like, in this game it's easier to take theory and put it into use. I don't think it's not meant to be easy. You know? Like, it's not, I don't think it's not meant to be easy. How often did I use hidden gears? A lot. A lot. And it's mostly because I think, so let me talk about that for a minute, since I want to talk about Hotaru. I think Hotaru takes advantage of the system very, 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 very well. Fireball, DP, air throw, command grab, fireball reflector, the perfect kit. She has short normals, yes, but when she gets into the right spaces, her normals are really good. And she's pretty fast. So with her, I learned so much about the game system, and transferring those skills I learned about her to other characters, and seeing how, like, certain characters have options that, while similar to Hotaru, they can be seen as weaker, but that doesn't change the fact that they still have those options and have ways to blow you up while using those options. You know what I mean? So, like, with that being said, using your hidden gears, where you put your SPG is important. Like, SPG could be player dependent, it could be matchup dependent, it just depends on you, right? So, like, say for example, let's say if you put your hidden gear up front, if you put your SPG up front, that means you have your hidden gear immediately. So that means you're telling your opponent you're willing to cash out at the start of a game, but at the same time you're also telling your opponent you're willing to use rev blows early on. And I think that depends on you as a player, like how good your defense is to utilize the SPG, right? Because that's also a damage buff, right? So in a lot of cases, hidden gears are good to use pretty early, if you ask me. I think if you can end a round with the hidden gear, I think that you should, especially if it's gonna do a lot of damage. Even if it doesn't, I think it's okay, because meter gain in this game is kind of quick. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it really just depends. It really and truly just depends. Especially if you get a counter hit. Like, getting a wild punish into a hidden gear is like, man, that life bar is gone, Mikey. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you get touched, you explode pretty quickly. They explode pretty quickly. But I guess to swing it back on balance, I think they did a good job of balancing stuff. It's just they need to fix T-Zoc. T-Zoc's clearly not complete. Clearly. The backdash into air command grab is pretty silly in terms of OTG. I think it's okay if they let him do one, but to scale the damage, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool if he can get one. I think that makes his combos look cool, but lower the damage. After that, have fun. Let him have just that one. I'm cool with it. Whatever. Just one. Nothing past that. But him being able to get like 3 of them shits was like, all right, come on now. That's kind of, that made it like 900 damage. like one shot. Come on now. Come on. No. But don't worry. I think with Hotaru, you should put SPG either in the middle or at the end. I think SPG with her at the front it's only good for round 1, I feel. Because the other supers, while they do damage, the hidden gear is like your most damaging super. She can break her level 2 flip kick super, but it's like, why do you even want to bother with that? I think it's cool because it looks cool for combo videos, but then like when you think about it in retrospect and like your applications of it, that's only if you want to style on your opponent at the end. Because I feel like the supers that are breakable, to be real with you, even though they're breakable, they don't do that much damage. So it doesn't feel like it's worth it unless it's a wild punish. At that point, why not just use a level 2? You know what I mean? So that leads me into thinking like I'm of the opinion right now, it hasn't happened yet, but I think Hotaru in the beta, I think she was overall the best character in the game. I think despite Rock, Terry, and Kane and their like progression and how they're winning, I think they're very easy characters to pick up and play, and not very many people care about Hotaru like that. Like, I think most people they like visually Rock, Terry, and Kane, and they like Kane especially because he's got set play. But I think, personal opinion, I believe wholeheartedly Hotaru was the best. I think so. Like, air throw, guard cancel, command grab, DP, good fireball. Like, Hotaru has like the perfect kit. She literally has the perfect kit. So at that point, the only downside is, oh well, her normals are short. You know, they said that about Yun in Street Fighter 4, and we know how that went. You know, but even in this beta, she much like everyone else in last beta, she has more gaps in her stuff, just like everyone else. So like, she's fine. I think she's, hey, as much people probably argue like she's not perfectly balanced, I think she is currently. I can't think of anything else you could take away from her that would be fair. There's like nothing you can do other than like, oh well, they already made it to where she can't reflect EX fireballs with a regular reflector. She has to EX to reflect. To me, it's like, what are you gonna do? Lower her damage more than it already is? Like, what are you gonna do at that point, you know? But I think she has everything she needs to win overall. I think she's probably one of the most solid characters. But I think she's probably number 1 of the beta. I think she's overall probably the best well-rounded overall character in the game. Then you can get into like Rock and Kane, and then probably like Terry. My opinions on Jenny has shifted a bit after playing Sonic Soul. And Sonic Soul is fucking sick with that character, but like, I feel like having an air throw and knowing how to guard cancel against Jenny, I think that's where like the matchup shit changes a ton. The fireball getting more recovery, that shit can be toxic, I guess. I think her fireball already has enough recovery. You get jumped on pretty easily. Now they only added 3 newcomers. How important do you feel novelties are? Well, Ukyo, I don't know. In my opinion, I mean, Mai's new, technically speaking, because they weren't in the last game. Like, Mai, Andy, and Joe were not in the last game. Billy wasn't in the last game. So, like, they're taking all the older characters and revamping them to fit in. And I don't really have a problem with that. I think the newcomers are fine. I think as long as the newcomers are, like, good and they're not bad, right? Because sometimes one of the problems with fighting games are they'll add new characters and they just end up being bad. You know? And then they have to take a lot of patchwork to make them good. I don't like that. You know? What's up, Rageki? In my opinion, what I want for fighting games is everyone to have what they want, within reason, of course. So like, take for example, like you got your favorite character, the character's good enough to play, have fun. Like I used to be really big on like hating certain characters, and I mean that with every inch of my being. Now I'm more about all inclusivity as opposed to like this character should suck. You know what I mean? Like I control about it, but like in general, I prefer if there's more people playing the game. So like if there's a character that suits you or suits what you want to do in the game, by all means, put them in the game. Do I want to see fan favorites? Of course, because I want, like I said, I want people to play their favorite character, right? So if you like Joe, sure, he's there. Okuma, no. Let him go terrorize Tekken. He's canon in Tekken anyway. But with that being here, I think, yeah, I'm all for it. Like, I don't know. I think it's very easy to just hate things, so I just do my best not to. Folks getting mad about certain things, nothing new. That's fighting games. But yeah, with that being said, other characters, I think Mai was better than most people gave her credit for. I think the only thing about Mai that they could do is just make stand C not whiff crouching, because I think that's kind of a bill. I think her 5C, the step kick, I'm okay with that move whiffing on over people, but I think her 5C or far 5C should connect if you crouch. I think that's kind of unfair to Mai. And you're asking my players to use crouching C more as opposed to stand C, which she hasn't had that normal since Real Bout. So I think it's fine to let it hit crouch. I think it's okay. Like personally. Other than that, I thought Mai was mostly okay. She had some combo inconsistencies, but I think it's just a matter of just knowing what to do on the juggles and proper timing, which is okay. Because to me, she's still one of the stronger characters in the game too, because she has DP break and air throw. And why I'm telling you guys DP break and air throw is strong is because you now have the mix up between air throwing someone for jumping at you and you have DP break as well. So one leads to a lot of damage, one leads to a hard knockdown. So the fact that you can make your opponent when they're jumping choose between those options, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. I think DP break, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna keep saying it. The three strongest things in this game at the moment, in my opinion, is still DP break, air throw, command grab. Guard cancel command grab means you cannot do proper block strings. Guard cancel DP also means you can't do proper block strings. Obviously you can zero frame, but these things cost meter. This may cost you a little bit of heat or overheat, but whatever. You shut down so much stuff on guard cancel. So if you have a guard cancel command grab, that means that the string is completely interruptible with something that leads to a hard knockdown and doesn't cost any more resources. That's why I'm adamant about that. That's why I will still, as much as people have been saying Vox sucks, I just can't wait to see what happens when people learn more about him and then on full release. So let's say in this beta, like, I've been trying my hardest to not say he sucks, but it's like, all right, fine, whatever. We'll just go with the herd and just say he sucks because he hasn't won anything. He doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. But okay, fine, whatever. But if someone, you know, takes him up and does the things I'm talking about, I'm definitely gonna like be looking at people kind of weird. Why don't I learn more about him? I will when he comes out on full release. You know, we'll see. I feel like as long as you have DP break and command grab, I think he's fine. Like in my opinion, to me, it's like when we have like, then this isn't just aimed at you in particular, Silent, right? Just I've seen a lot of discussion about him, and I'm like, when I think about what their complaints are, and then I watch how people are playing him, I'm like, okay, maybe, just maybe, you could be playing him wrong. That is also a possibility, right? Maybe, just maybe, you can learn something more about him. Maybe, just maybe, they could adjust him. There's a lot of things that are in contention, but like, because it's a beta, I don't expect anyone to have this shit down outside of Rock Terry. And the amount of people playing Kane, yeah, of course. You know, with the amount of people playing Kane, Rock, and Terry, you're gonna have some of the most evolved characters in a short period of time. But if you don't have a player base that large of those characters, I expect nothing from the player base that's playing him, unless there's like some standout players. And that's the problem. There aren't, at the moment, any standout players, because I guess you could say at the moment the universal opinion is he's not good. He's not very good. But based on, hate to say it, theorycraft and how the game's defensive mechanics work, I can't see him being bad with the way the mechanics work. Is he top tier? No. At that point, I question, like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for him to win the tournament? Or are you looking for all these theorycraft things to fucking show themselves and they're the reason why he wins? Maybe they will be. Maybe they will be. But, you know, people didn't think Kagru was going to be stupid good in CVS2, and there it is. JD throw. It's the same thing. That's why you can't JD into normal throw in this game currently, because they made it so you have to special cancel. If it was JD throw like it was in CVS2 with the same frame freeze, oh, that changes the game. So that's why I say JD throw is still really good in this game, because you have a command grab. I don't think, right, like T-Zoc is probably going to struggle a bit, but he still does have JD command grab, right? And he still has hyper defend command grab. Will that change his matchups? We'll see. He doesn't have DP break, but that means at the same time you can't run generic offense on him if they're good at using the defensive mechanics. I think the problem here is, especially with current games, is the defensive mechanics people are not good at, like, or rather the defensive mechanics, we'll just say Street Fighter 6 for example. We argue that like things like drive reversal are bad, but things like JD guard cancel are really freaking good. Like, it stops pressure, it slows the game down. You're going to have to slow down. I think because everyone's just doing, I'm gonna be honest with you, generic CVS2 pressure with jab jab run, jab jab run, jab jab run, jab jab run, throw. Like, yeah, it looks cute right now until that gets shut down. Until we start stopping people from doing that, it's gonna look bad for Vox. But other characters have other options, and I get that. You know, there are other characters that like obviously utilize certain things that are easier. Simple concepts like fireball DP are very easy to utilize in any fighting game, so it's very clear like a character like Vox, until someone specializes in him, or like players specialize in him and learn his options in certain situations, or whatever those situations are, yeah, he could be better. But like, if no one cares to explore that, of course he's gonna look like dog shit. I mean, we're watching tournaments where people are playing and they're still not utilizing system mechanics. Everyone's just winning by just playing like by raw feel and still playing KOF. When in this game, small jumps are higher and easier to anti-air, as opposed to KOF. You can actually DP and punish those, you know. But like, I'm not super sold on the character being bad yet. I think that's just, I mean, and it's okay to have differing opinions. But you know, like I said, I guess I'll go with the herd and say he sucks. You know, like, just because some people couldn't figure it out doesn't mean it's not possible. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm just wondering what the expectations are for Vox. That's what I'm curious about. I mean, I get that, but I think other players who do care for Vox and want to play Vox and take him to the top, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's like something Omega special. I mean, he's just Kane. He's just like Kane. He's just Grant. And Grant wasn't anything special either. It's just for the game that he was in and how the game worked, Grant was mad good because his buttons were crazy silly, and I don't think Vox is that much removed from Kane. I keep saying Kane, I mean Grant. Grant's really good, and he had a lot less to work with, but he just hit hard. And you know, again, it's just the way the game operated as well. So I mean, we gotta wait and see. Like, if we're going for like esports World Cup money, yeah, obviously I'm gonna look at you and be like, yeah, I don't know if you want to pick Vox. So if we're looking at it from the perspective of like, obviously how you have to win with Vox may not be optimal for everybody, but like, I think the good thing is we can't ignore. But my thing is, even though that may be the case, the good thing is you can't ignore the fact that he's still good with the system mechanics. If you're saying you want to play him for money, that's up to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even say that's his gimmick. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just, I think at that point it's about the message that you send regarding the character, right? Like, I think that's one thing, is as like a content creator and as like a player who like supports both sides of the casual player and like the pro player, if you will. I can't deny that there are, like, I mean, the system mechanics can still be used by the character and still put him in favorable spots. But like, if the only thing you can do is look at the downsides of, well, this does this, that's every character. In regards to like, oh, I did guard cancel into whatever, overheat. Every character does that. But it just depends on how he works. Now, I don't think that he relies on the player being bad to win either. I think it's still too early to cast judgment. It's just very obvious once again, Terry, Hotaru, Rock, Kane are really good. Oh my god. Oh shit. Sorry. Yeah, but it's like I said, I mean, even if you pull away the whole thing about the pilot, I mean, you could say that for literally any player and any character. Like, guard cancel options with every character in this game are going to be really good, and it's the damage, from what I can tell and what I've tested, is capped. So like, let's say like Vox's guard cancel damage is like 300. That's pretty much everybody. Anti-air damage is like 300 unless you have hidden gear, which you can push to almost 500. Like, the damage scaling is like standardized across the board. So in essence, you could argue, well, he doesn't get this and don't get that, but like, okay, he still has those options. Like, I think the fact that they still let him have those options still keeps him in, like, it still keeps him there. It still keeps him above water. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the argument is he can't win a tournament or he can't top 8, well, he's already proven he can top 8. He top 8'd what, 2 or 3 tournaments over the weekend. Like,
come on.
I mean, it's, but like, okay, let me ask you a question then.
Never forget about that.
I understand. Let's try this for the sake of discussion. Thanks for the follow, big dog. Let's talk about this for a second. At that point, would you not agree that like it's still early and there isn't anything to show for at the moment in terms of Oki? Most people don't even know what good Oki is in this game outside of Kane. And safe jumps, meaty safe jumps get blown back by guard cancel, like JD guard cancel, so you have to empty safe jump. You know what I mean? Nah, I don't agree. I think we learn fast, but I don't think that we're at a point yet where like, it's definitely a decent early indication, but I think without seeing more, because it's like, yeah, man, it's like playing Street Fighter 6 and saying these are top tiers without drive rush, right? Like, we're still not using everything. So if the way it's looking now is we're not using our defensive options, which everyone loves to complain about, that lack of defensive options in fighting games, and if no one's using them right now, how can we really tell what the meta is? So if offensively this is what it looks like, we're looking at maybe what, a portion of the game, you know? Nah, I think the mechanics make for a big sense of argument. Because I say this because if you go by games that are mechanically rich, like a Guilty Gear or a CVS2 where there's tons of mechanics, you can tell who's top tier, but at the same time, with the lack of the use of the mechanics, you'll never know what exactly is top tier. If by that logic, if this is what early top tier looks like, then those top tiers change because they get weaker due to system mechanics. Then you can't really just say, you see what I'm saying? Like, I will always use that because it is a mechanically rich game. That's like saying, well, Third Strike, you know, this, how to put it? third strike parries make a lot of characters strong, but also make a lot of characters weak. So it's also about your rewards that you get from those mechanics. So if like that's what I'm saying already off rip. If I've already mentioned like 3 things in the general options that a character has, and then you tack on the rest of the system mechanics to those things, that's it. You say JD is strong because both of their constantly tapping back. I mean, okay. I just don't agree when the game still is in this current stage and we're only looking at like, okay, this is winning now. How long is that gonna last? That's my question. That's why I'm very interested in seeing the evolution of Kane. Kane is the one character who I'm looking at very heavily to see what happens to him. Will he still be good? Oh yeah. But I'm really wondering what happens when people start JDing and start hyper defending a lot of his stuff. Because once he does a move, he's locked into it. So if they hyper defend and punish him, that move is going to start to get weaker. You see what I'm saying? Like that's my point. That's why I feel like I can have this meta discussion I can make a lot of cases. And the only argument I would get is, oh, well, this is in theory. Well, JD to me is part of the problem, but I think HD is way worse. Both of them in tandem are freaking phenomenal. But that's what I'm saying, like, you have the ability to choose what you want to do to get away from situations. It'd be one thing if it was like, yo, my alpha counter sucks. Oh, well, my alpha counter doesn't do this. My alpha counter is too slow. You can throw my alpha counter. No, you get to pick and choose what you do as a defensive option when you use these things. That's why I'm like, okay, maybe because of the damage scaling can be seen as, okay, well, this sucks. Well, if the damage scaling was high, then you'd be like, well, this is broken. So they have to pick and choose which is the best choice of action, right? I'll talk about Bleach in a bit, but if you like make it to a point where like, if you can take it to a point to where you can utilize your options on top of the system, it changes things. It's like instant block changes frame data in Guilty Gear. Like that changes matchups, that changes how characters win, that changes punishes, that changes so much of the game. That's why like I don't agree in saying system mechanics are not a good argument. I think what ends up happening is we've played enough games where the system mechanics feel weak, and we haven't gone back to where system mechanics are actually like strong. Now I'd argue that because you would say, well, look at Drive Rush, cool, but like that's an offensive one. We're not talking about defensive mechanics, because every single defensive mechanic in fighting games currently have been not so great. And the one game that did have defensive mechanics, Melty Blood, was way too good, and everyone complained about it. And they had to nerf the defensive mechanics. So like I think Fatal Fury at the moment strikes what looks like a decent balance of how strong the defensive mechanics can be. That's what I'm saying. It would be one thing if you couldn't choose what your defensive option was, like you were locked into alpha counter. Like if you had to just alpha counter, if it was just your doo-doo slow ass alpha counter like an Xrd or something like that, I'd be like, I agree with you tenfold. But because you get to choose what your defensive option is, that changes things. That's why I'm gonna just keep it a stack. I will not agree about Vox being trash. I just won't. Because you can't meaty safe jump anybody in this game. Meaty safe jump can lead to zero frame. Meaty safe jump can lead to guard cancel. Sonic Soul fucking crossed me up with fucking command jump flip into crossover kick, and I JD'd guard cancel into command grab, and it said punish. You know what I mean? I said Street Fighter 6 alpha counter. I said it sucked. So what? What do you want to do? You want me to just, all right, look, Street Fighter 6 alpha counter sucks. You feel better now? Whatever. I'm just stating in general. It doesn't matter what game. Even Street Fighter 5 alpha counters were poop. Look. All right. Fuck it. Nash, be real with me, big dog. Tell me, me and you, for a second. Listen to me. How far did you test Vox? How far? How far along? Just how far along did you test Vox? That's all I want to know. Did you spend an hour with them? A day? 2 hours? 3 hours? Well, if you had to clock in the time you spent with trying stuff out with him, how much time did you spend? Honestly, it's okay. I'm not blowing you up. Not too far, just 1 hour. Thank you. Okay, I'm not blowing you up, Nash. You cool. I love you to death. But you know, for what it's worth, I've tested more stuff with that character longer than an hour. Just because I don't do it on stream doesn't mean I didn't look at stuff. So like, I tested all this stuff with all these characters and saw how to get through these generic options, and he does well with that. Like, just because one person can't do it doesn't mean someone else can't. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that, like, if you were locked in, I'm gonna keep saying it again, if you were locked in to just a shitty alpha counter, I would agree tenfold that character might not even be anything more than poop. But because he has that option, it's so hard to sit here and say he sucks. You can't jump at him either. It's not free. It's not free. What's up, Ahmad? Not to mention he can do EX dive kick into, he can do EX DP into dive kick and be +4. It costs him meter, but he has to do something. But yeah, if you wanted to do the same thing Vox does while having a better fireball and better options overall, pick Hotaru. The reason why I have these things to say about Vox is because they share similarities. I'm just saying, they share some similarities. So I tested the things out to see what's there. That's all. There's nothing else to it. Like, if he couldn't do certain things, I would agree. But because Hotaru's my main, I'm like, well, they share something similar. Let me see. Like, that's why I feel like if you want to play Hotaru while lacking a command grab, you pick Mai. Because Mai has the other half. Like, you can air throw, and it's good. All right, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Whatever. I'm over it. I don't care. Just face facts. Just face facts. If somebody, just seriously, if that's how y'all feel, and you like, all I'm gonna say is, if you feel that strongly about it, that's fine. At that stage in the game, I'll be honest and say, if you're gonna meme me for this, then that's your fault for not learning how to use the system mechanics. Period. Like, I think that's not, at that point, that's not my fault that you choose to not learn those things. That's it. That's how I feel. Like, if you can't utilize the system mechanics with a character like him, that's not my problem. That's not my fault. Is he top tier? No. But like the notion of, well, he can't do this and he can't do that. Well, every character has some kind of limitations. Some are better than others. That's always gonna be in a fighting game. However, with the system, he can't be dog shit. I think you take it too literal though. Especially, all right. It's not about you being a retired fighting game player. Did you training mode him? Other than combos? Okay. It has nothing to do with me saying you're bad or your opinion doesn't matter. We already talked about that. But what I'm saying isn't even based on you. I saw Martin say he sucks. I saw other people say he sucks. I'm just like, okay, does he suck or is he mid tier? You know what I mean? Make up your mind. Yeah, and that's okay. I tested him to help friends out that are playing Vox. And most of my stuff that I came up with, well, the best thing about him tends to be he has DP break and guard cancel command grab. Both those things are good. If you want to argue, well, the overheat and the damage output, well, that's everybody. That's not saying everyone doesn't have that problem. But like, you can't But you also can't deny how strong guard cancel command grab is, or guard cancel zero frame. You could say, oh, well, in theory, well, you know, you could do this and you could do that, but in practicality, well, this is that. Well, unfortunately, thankfully, this is not a game where it's just, well, only this or not, or this or that. It's not that black and white. Like, that's the part I'm trying to say. And if it's something that's not, like, I don't know. Let someone from Japan play him super fucking sick and top 8 with him or win a tournament with him. I'm gonna be coming back to this conversation. I'm just be like, all right, you suck though. And then it's gonna be like, oh well, it's just him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's just this guy. Like, because at that point, that's what an option select. All right, I'm done. The end. All right, no more about Vox. I realize if I talk about Vox, I'm going to strike a nerve. So we're going to leave Vox alone. Whatever. We'll leave him alone. Vox sucks. There you go. Like I said. Right. Anyway, now that we've established Vox sucks, let's move on. I think of all the characters though, like I said before, I think there's like 3 or 4 characters that are really good right now. And I keep saying, like, Kane to me is the one character I want to see down the road when things change. Of all the strong characters, I want to see what happens with him. I really want to see if his strength still holds up. And like what that's gonna look like down the road, because I don't want to say he's overrated. That's not the case. I just want to see what happens when people start using the system. I agree. I definitely think the mechanics cooking, but I think we're just not at that point yet. And I told this to Martin. I was like, he's a good character for sure. The set play is great, but he doesn't have access to DP break on command. Hey, you know what, Sonic? You can main guard cancel command grab, but I'll put the setup with me cooking Sonic. So with the sorry, Sonic, I'm not saying I'm cooking you like I'm beating your ass or anything like that, but I utilize it against him, and it's clearly strong, and it slowed down the offense. So it's very clear that it's a potent tactic. It's not, again, if you want to meme it, I'm gonna just tell you it's not my fault. You can't use the system mechanics. So every time you say that, I'm gonna say, hey, use the system mechanics. I'm sorry you can't tap back and core circle for it. Step it up. Step it up, retiree. Use the training mode. You got it. That's what I'm saying. That 3-hit close normal against almost every character is a bill. I don't think it's good on block. He has to use jabs. He has to use his lights. I don't think for 1 second that those moves should be used on block too much. I think you can get away with it here and there, but as time goes by, that's going to get weaker. His set play is going to stay solid, but I think those close C and close D normals, they're finna get cooked. Because he can't cancel first hit. If Kane could cancel first hit, if every 2-hit string character from their close C and close D could special cancel on first hit, I'd be like, all right, case closed, I'm quiet. But that's not the case. You can also rev guard him. I can see that. Like, okay. Like, that's my thing. And like, the more I play, I'm just like, I tested that again because that was part of my theory crafting when I was like looking at stuff. And I was like, nah. I think he's good, but he's gonna have some problems later. He's gonna be really good, for sure. But I think the current stuff he's getting away with, if people don't learn how to set play properly, I don't think he's going to be that scary. I'm more afraid of like Marco. You know? With my video breaking down all the mechanics. Well, you see, this thing called the beta is done, and the game's not out yet. So, I mean, I don't. What do you want me to tell you? As for Bleach, I think Bleach is a good game. They just need to fix the bugs. Ukyo. Sorry, the City of the Wolves talk is getting kind of crazy. Full C, DP break, rev card, crouch A whiffs, I'll punish him. That's crazy. CUX, appreciate you. I was waiting for Marco, specifically him and Dong Huang, or my characters in Mark of the Wolves. Yeah, I'm more afraid of like that character. Because like Marco had the hardest DP break in Mark of the Wolves, and now it's like easy. So like that character with his dash and how he moves around, that character's gonna be a bullet. And then there's wave dashing in the game. Hey man, that's not A. Fix your face. That is not my fault. You don't have to be disgruntled. Being disgruntled is a choice. Always remember that. Anything regarding your feelings is a choice. You can choose to feel that way. You don't have to feel that way. That is a fact. So even if I make my video highlighting the mechanics, I think at that point, I would assume like, I guess, let me make this clear. A big reason, I said it earlier, a big reason why I feel this way about like the system mechanics and stuff like that is because CVS2 and Mark the Wolves are right there. If I didn't have experience in those two games in particular, and K-Groove being my main groove in CVS2, I would not feel the way I feel about those mechanics. The only difference is CVS2 guard cancel, like the guard canceling when that game was a little bit slower, so people did JD throw because it slowed down your frames. Like you were stuck. So whatever move you did, you got stuck, and it was a guaranteed throw. And K-Groove throws are not anything to scoff at, especially in Rage. And it's just not that much different. The same concepts apply in this game. It is crazy. Because JD cancel into supers in CVS2 freaking hurt. JD throws super good. JD punish buttons in the super, like you just explode. So like literally after playing those games for so long, just seeing that those same concepts worked here, it's like you can just go watch some CVS2 K-Groove footage and tell me it's not City of the Wolves. You have homework. The difference is the game has more plus frames, but the concepts are still the same. Because people definitely said that stuff about K-Groove and you can't JD this and JD that, and I've watched people, and even myself included, JD a whole block of electricity to get like a third of my life back and go into Rage and then punish him anyway. So it's just like the potential to do things are there. People also told me you couldn't parry Tiger Uppercut. I parried Tiger Uppercut consistently and almost beat John Choi in tournament. Going 2-1 is not easy against someone like John Choi. Just saying. It's not like I haven't played these people who are good. Played Alex Valle, played Shin Chang, I played all these motherfuckers who are super good in these games, in Street Fighter games, and CVS2. And show them the fucking power of God of those fucking grooves. Because you can't just throw out those stupid things, and you can jump at people. You can make them scared of your options. But just Guilty Gear, right? CVS2 is a gem because of SNK mechanics, not Capcom's. Well, the sad truth is, the strongest overall still is K-Groove, but A-Groove keeps it in check, as I said earlier. If it wasn't for A-Groove activation and Guard Crush with that activation, it'd be K-Groove for sure. Best groove in the game. Roll cancel aside, you're still the best groove. You punish it, you get punished for punishing it. You get hit by Tiger Uppercut, damn, that's crazy, bro. Now I'm in Rage. That groove was anti-Sagat. He thinks I'm an MK player. Trust me, man. I'm not hating or anything like that, but like, it makes it seem as if like, while I'm known for Guilty Gear, like, dog, I have so many placements in CVS2, it's insane. On a regional level and even national level. So it's like, come on now. Why would I wouldn't explain these things if I didn't experience it. The only thing is, like, I could argue that I could be better at the games for sure. But the concepts in theory fighting is still the same. But hey, whatever. Either way, I just feel like if you just look at the system mechanics of the game as a whole and go past like what's currently being seen, I don't know. But I have something I'm working on just about like the general concept of the game. I think that's just mostly it though. That's definitely a big part of it. Let me see here. Other than that, I think the game is going to evolve into something great. It's going to slow down after a while, but we'll see. Maybe some of the beta characters get nerfed. Maybe not. Maybe they get buffed. Who knows? But I have no semblance on any of that. All I can say is whatever happens is going to happen. Either way it goes, it's still going to be a fun game to play. Let's know more about Mark of the Wolves, like how it played. Easy. So Mark of the Wolves is played very similar to this game. The only difference is like guard cancels were a bit harder. And there's no EX to EX moves for pressure, right? So it's a lot harder to get away with that. Also, Just Defend gave you more life back. It was a percentage of whatever the move was. So if you threw out like a Hao Shokoken, right, with, what's his name? Marco? Whatever it would do to you, you jaded a good chunk of it back. Like if whatever it would hit you for, you would get maybe a portion of it back. Not all of like, if it hit you for like 50%, it wouldn't give you 50% HP back. It would give you maybe like 20%, you know, like 30 HP, something like that back, right? Same thing with like the Rev Blow, TOP attacks, all the same. It wasn't armored though, it was just a unique attack per character. And a lot of them are pretty much the same in this game. It's mostly the same game. It's just some of the breaks are different. Like for Hotaru, it used to be the reflector. Her reflector was her break move. Marco had the hardest because it was his DP, but his DP break did a lot of damage. Like the way damage scaling worked in that game was so different. And guard cancel in that game, guard cancel punishes were higher damage output. It wasn't like this where it's like scaled, which truth be told is fair because all things considered, you're gonna get a hard knockdown from an EX or a super. TOP/SPG still did a lot of damage. Just like this game is still matchup dependent, player dependent, where you put your SPG or TOP, made no difference. Balance wise, Rock sucks, Freeman sucks, like just bad characters, like super bad characters. Bijene was pretty much top tier, Grant was top tier, Kane was top tier, Terry's kinda mid, Jae-hoon is A, Dong Hwan I think is like BB+, Gato's like A+, Hotaru's kinda mid, Kevin Ryan is basically a bannable character. In Japan tournaments, he was soft banned, like Akuma in ST. He was that broke. Like, he was that silly. Like, that guy was nuts. I don't know why they didn't touch him, but it's like they put Ralph and Clark in one character and he just did so much damage. Terry was mid. I don't think you kept up with the game after a while, brother. He's pretty much a B+ character. You could say he's mid, but his damage output was really high. And it's still high now. Funny how that works. He went from like C tier to like B tier, then like B+. He fluctuated a lot on the tier list. He's one of the few characters that fluctuated. Rock never did. That character just bad. I think Marco was A2 also. So I mean, it's like you had a lot of characters who were good, but like they're good for different reasons. What, Jay in the game? Pull it up. I'm just talking about what I've seen in Japanese tournaments. Hey man, Japan still plays Mark of the Wolves pretty heavily. I don't know if that's still the case now. But I know like 2022, 2023, they were very heavy on it. I still watch a lot of the old game tournaments. Like just the other day, I was watching Alpha 3, but I love Alpha 3, so that's just me. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, we're just not gonna do that. We're just not gonna do that. Just stop. Like, I'm gonna call you out hard body here. You're also one of the people that said Terry wasn't like top tier in KOF 15. Hush. Just stop. Cut it out. No more. No mas. 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 Don't start that. Don't start that shit today. Don't start that shit today. Let's not do that. That character, Terry Bogard in City of the Wolves, is minimum A tier. Just like Rock. At minimum. He don't gotta be like, what do you like? That's why I be like, what do you want for this fucking character? Do you want him to be fucking broken? Like, what do you want? Unfathomable offense? Fucking broken freaking moves? Like, what do you want? Command grab? You got DP break? You got good ass ground buttons? You got good ass damage? You got a good feint? You got stupid? Like, what do you want? Like, I'll be sitting there, I'm like, you be like, nah, Terry's like mid tier. You know what? Maybe your gameplay is mid tier. Why don't you step it up? How about that? Why don't you step up the gameplay? Because I'll tell you right now, that character is not no mid tier character. Cut it out. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Come on now.
Come on.
Character's amazing.
How you doing?
Seriously.
Forget about that. That's all
Good ass guard cancel moves. DP good at DP break freaking bird knuckle. Like, what do you want? What do you want? You want burn knuckle to be unblockable? What do you want? What do you want? You want when you press jab it's unblockable? Sick. Like, what the hell? Like, the cap. Like, the cap. You have to stop. You've got to stop. Please. Please. Let's cut it out. Let's stop the cap. Please. There are children watching. Bruh, did you not hear what I told you? This is a tier list from 2007. I just told you they were playing the game heavily just like 2-3 years ago. What is this? This is old. I'm not trusting Super Combo from with the 2007 tier list, dude. No. They've said stuff that this has changed. Not by that much. But yeah. Whatever. Jeez Louise, man. Terry's very good. He's your king. That's a good ass character. Think the big current games are messing with perception of character power? I don't know, Jordan. Maybe. I think the problem with like character strengths and like how strong a character is like, I feel like a lot of the developers, and this is just my theory, they might be kind of, it's like carrot on a stick in a sense. Stick with the game, will make your character better. It's like, I want my character to be good now. Like, I don't want to play a character. It feels bad in some cases to play a character and invest time and then the developers wait till like, all right, we're going to give you all this stuff in season 3. It's like, and a lot of those changes tend to be like the most minute changes that the character needed from the start. And it's like, why didn't you just give them that from the start? Why didn't you just do that previously? Or why don't you just give them that in your first update? Why did you have to wait to like gradually, progressively give this to a character? Because it's like, oh, well, you see, we didn't want to give them this because we thought it'd be broken. It's like, dude, you have a character over here that's doing all this other crap. how is this broken in compare? How is this now broken in comparison to what they were doing before? Now, it sucks to compare characters and their strengths too heavily, but you know that's what happens in a tier list, right? So like, based on these options, why would you be so reserved in something that's so basic? That's what's bothersome about balance and like, you know, character power perception. In another light, right? We do it from a community standpoint. There are times where like, and I'm always gonna use this guy as a prime example. Street Fighter 6 Ed is my favorite example to use because it has to be the most poetic justice to me. You know, Jordan, because it's like a lot of videos and content creators like, yeah, Ed sucks. He's not really that good. You know, Ed has these problems and those problems and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? They put Yamazaki in Street Fighter. Do you not see this? Like, if you ever played King of Fighters or know anything about Yamazaki or Fatal Fury and just know anything about Yamazaki, it's like, here you go. And he has mixture of things from like Balrog at the same time while having a fireball. Like anything that Yamazaki had, Ed has it in his kit. And so what happens a lot of times is people call a character being bad early, and then in typical fashion, Jordan, in typical fashion, I've been here for a long time, so as you can see, I'm saying in typical fashion for a reason. Someone from Japan is like, this character's pretty good. And then they show why the character's good, and then you see shit like the dream combo, and then you see placements, and then you see this, and then you have to look at your side of the world and be like, I thought you said this sucked. Well, I mean, the first week I got it, you know, I had to make content, and then, you know, I had to tell you it sucks because currently the current top tiers are this. Why don't you spend longer than a week? Well, you see, the video had to get made, so I couldn't just, you know, just say, you know, did you at least check the potential? I mean, I sat in ranked, right? I sat in ranked. I played ranked for a week, and I feel like this character's not very good. Explain Momochi. I mean, I had no idea. Explain Lashar. I mean, So essentially, you just didn't know. And that is the standard. That's the standard. And then Ending Walker as well. Thanks for mentioning that, Jordan. Yeah, Ending Walker as well. So it's like he's my personal favorite example to show that like the community half the time doesn't always know what they're talking about. But then the other side of it is too, you get people like me who also might sound like a radical because it's like, oh, well, you don't know because you're not competing at the highest level, or you don't know because you're not playing these guys, or you don't know because you just make content. But it's like, well, you know, there are certain things that are very blatantly obvious in what makes a character good, or some things that are blatantly obvious that like people overlook. Like, to be fair, Jordan, like there are things on my channel here on YouTube that I did with Strive, right? Big example is Backdash Blue RC, right? That is very common in Guilty Gear Xrd. And like all these Strive players were like, yeah, I don't know about that. And I put this video out literally like the first week the game came out, just to come find out 2 years later, now they're like, yo, Backdash BRC is godlike. And I'm like, bruh, this video was made the first week the game came out. How'd you guys miss this? Do you guys just not care about options and tech in your game? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You know? But like, as you can see, like, there are things where like, sometimes people's lack of creativity comes to be an issue, and they look at the game in a vacuum and it's just like, this is the only thing that works. And then like, it takes, unfortunately, Asia to like prove a point. Right? It takes Asia to prove a point. And then, oh yeah, and then it turns into, oh, I always knew. It's like, yeah, sure. Sure, you always knew. You always knew. I'm sure you did. Oh, nah. Japan definitely gets cooked in some cases with characters too. They definitely get cooked. Laura's definitely a big case for it, and so is Elfelt, for sure. But like, it's funny when like certain characters, but it doesn't change the fact that certain characters are still better in certain sides of the world. Can we not agree to that? Right? Some characters just, for example, Japan loves Showdown, so you're gonna see a lot of more standard characters, or characters that have a lot more neutral control. You're gonna see that on that side of the world. Then over here, you're gonna see more rushdown characters. I've already said before. Sorry, YouTube, you're hearing me say this now, but Diaphone said it in his stream, and I said it countless times. Watching Street Fighter Capcom Cup, it looked like Japan is just not very good against Kimberly, like at all. Like, they understand her, but like, it looks like this, like if Punk what was that? Punk, Psycho, and Shine, they all just said, fuck it, we all gonna play Kim. And watching how Japan is tackling that, I'm just like, really? But then you look at their replays and all you see is fucking Akumas. You see Kens, you see Shotos. You still see Luke to some extent. You see Ed. So like, it's also apparent that there are some characters that excel on this side of the world versus there. You know, it's also a playstyle difference. You know what I mean? You know? So I mean, like, of course. But like, that's just it, right? Like, but you understand where I'm coming from. Like, you can meet me all you want here and be like, oh, well, this guy did well with Honda. Yeah, now let's all play Honda. That's not, I mean, of course, people do that regardless. Right? Like, freaking, what was it? I remember when Star-Lord was like the hotness in Marvel Rivals from one tournament, and every ranked match, everyone's locking in Star-Lord and they all suck with him. It's gonna happen, you know? So I will say it also depends on what the character does and if they like the characters visually. I'm not gonna see a bunch of Hondas in ranked at this point just because Hama got second at Texas Showdown. Who cares? It's Honda. Who likes Honda? Who likes Honda visually? Next to nobody. You know, but there are people who do like Honda and we're like, yeah, that's one for the Honda Nation. And that's like, okay, great, we got one. We got one for the books. They're not gonna run to go pick him. They'll probably play Luke now because, you know, apparently Luke sucks too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to also understand that, like, when players, like, if you want to take it to another level, right? When a player wins with the character that people, or does well with the character people deem as cheeks, you just encourage them to do it because it's like, yeah, man, with enough hard work, yo, I can do just the same thing like that guy. And that inspires people to look into things. Like, you can't overlook that either. So, I mean, if this dude's placements encourage at least 10 more Honda players to try to do work, that's better than nothing. Like, what do you want? You want more fucking Akumas? You want more Guiles? You want more... What do you want? You want more Shotos? Hey, there's tons of those. And Nash, as for my thoughts about Mai in Street Fighter 6, I think she's good. She's really good. There's a lot of debate about her being top 1. There's a lot of debate about her being top 5. There's a lot of debate about insert thing about her being really good. As far as I'm concerned, she's really good at the end. I don't care to put like a tier placement personally, because I personally still think Akuma's number 1. Like, it doesn't matter what you put in that game, you have to legitimately break Akuma to the point of where he can't function, to where he's just not the best character in the game. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Do I think she has bad matchups? Probably in some areas. But, you know, throw fan and profit is like the answer to like all your problems. So I don't think it's that cut and dry. Mikey Mondre, do you play Mark the Wolves on 5K? Nah. I had a moment in time where I was, but that was a long time ago. The Houston scene where I live, we used to play Mark of the Wolves offline a lot. Offline before 5K, and even after 5K, we did play a good bit online too. But like, 5K isn't really my thing like that. I'll play it maybe every now and again, but I haven't touched it in a hot minute. I used to play Third Strike on 5K a lot. I stopped. Used to play JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Heritage for the Future on 5K a lot. I stopped. Akuma just plays the game that well. He definitely does. What a great character. You know? But yeah, that's just how I feel, Nash. It's like, when I was trying certain things people were telling me, I'm just like, I don't think it's as cut and dry as just throw fan and profit. But then they'll just be like, well, you're not throwing fan properly. And I'm like, so what is throwing fan properly? Do I just throw it in neutral? Do I throw it in block strings? What do I do? Do I do jab jab fan? Do I throw it at mid range? Where do I throw it? You know, but the reality is there's no real consistent way. It's just, you kind of have to just wing it, you know? It's getting to the point to where I don't want to play my online because I don't want people mad at me if I win in a way they don't like. Jordan, I'm gonna tell you right now, as long as I've been playing fighting games, that's not your problem. You play what you like and you beat people's asses. You don't worry about what other people think of you. You just put fan on the screen and equals profit. Yeah, pretty much. And then burn yourself out, and then my sucks and burn out. So, but that's every character, right? Like, I just don't think it's as cut and dry. But I understand the point of like, well, just EX fan, and I think that's, you know, as a high level player, like hearing just do this, you know, it's not that cut and dry. But you know, they'll tell you these things because it's what you should do or it's what they're losing to, which does make sense. Like, it's the context. It's like, where do you use it? What makes it difficult to deal with? Other than, okay, well, you could drive rush and throw me. Okay, we get that. But like, you can also perfect parry me, and then that changes the whole situation. But then you have to mix up your timings, which is very obvious. There's no cut and dry answer, but like, there are clear tells in terms of what makes it difficult to be dealt with, right? Like, in KOF, it's very difficult to deal with also. But like, you don't suffer in burnout. There's no burnout. But this game there is, so like how you use it is still, you have to be wise about it, otherwise you just burn your meter, and then it's like, damn, I guess I gotta chill now, which isn't a bad thing, but like, you should still try to figure out like what makes it work. But from everything I've seen and watched and heard, and you know, I watch a lot of Japanese streams at late night, and I see like how they're dealing with Mai, and I'm seeing all their answers, and I'm just like, this is interesting. I think I've seen Mai get perfect parried on a lot of her like fan tosses if it's not in like a heavy block string. It's not that I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not saying, man, I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna be quiet. Anyway, I think in general, Mai has everything she needs to be good, but she's a very meter heavy character. But it feels to me like she's what they're aiming for season 3. Her and Terry. Maybe not so much Bison. But I think the other two definitely feel more like season 3 characters. Or like the direction they want to take the game. I feel like EX moves have a lot of value, but Drive Rush overrides that, unfortunately. Oh, what's up, David? It just feels like you should be spending more EX and Drive Rush with her. Sure, you have low for a Drive Rush, but it's like, KO 15 just got a pass. They buffed mature. All right, cool. Now I still go play Fatal Fury. Good to see my character got a buff. For those of you on YouTube that don't know, yeah, I'm primarily a mature player in like almost every other KOF, especially 13. Super fun in that game. Very straightforward character, but you can do a lot of cool things to kind of mix up. But you know, that's good to know. I just don't have any major intention to play 15. I have no major desire to play 15 like that. Not because matchmaking or anything like that, just, I don't know. I feel like I missed that boat. I feel like I missed out by not continuing playing that game, but that's okay. I think it's okay to look at games sometimes, just leave them alone. That's alright. But yeah, with that being said, yeah, I think Maya's good. Sometimes in my head, I feel like she's overrated. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I see why she's good, other times I don't. Or like, I won't say why she's good. Maybe in some cases it feels overrated. Then it's like, okay, maybe I'm just missing something. And then I just throw EX fan, and then I guess I just throw fan, and I just kind of just laugh at it. Because it just feel like you throw fan, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But I've gotten better with her normals, and it does feel good. She's easy to kind of walk away from. Like, her normals don't really do that well in terms of catching people's walk back unless you're like super close. Or like at minimum tip range of crouching medium kick. You can sweep them, but this is sweep. Funnily enough, I found more success with her sweep than her low forward, which is hilarious. Because like, as much as I know she has low forward drive rush, I just don't think, I think the lack of range bothers me. She still has good walk speed to make it work, but like, If you're a slow character, she's easy to catch you with that. It's weird. Like her damage is like interesting too. Like her damage isn't like capped, but it's locked behind like EX moves too. I think level 1 fan, not level 1 pillar super is so good because it lets you do more afterwards. But then like throwing your fans is not like where it's at. You shouldn't throw your fans. You should play for the next. You should play for the next mix up or the next hit. I think since you have 5, I think you're allowed to chuck maybe at most 2 fans. If you go 3, you gotta stop. You can't burn those because you lose access to a really good ass level 1 anti-air again. And if you have only 1, then your objective is to land that super. But that's the part that sucks. You have to use special moves. So you're gonna use it up anyway. So if you do, you should have minimum 2 stocks left over. You hate a crouching medium kick? Dog. All I'm gonna say is that shit felt like a build from the time. It's like, yeah, you have low forward drive rush, but like then you see Ken, then you see Luke, for what it's worth, Akuma, because he gets to walk at you and use it with those fucking Jamiroquai virtual insanity ass walk speed. Even though he's got a stub low forward, he's got the walk speed to back it up. So then it's like, all right, I guess I'll use that medium kick. Oh, you can walk away. I guess I'll use that heavy kick. And it's like, okay, cool. But then you also run the risk of getting DI'd. Both moves can get DI'd, but at least that medium kick, you can DI back. So then you want to use Stand Fierce, but Stand Fierce don't reach in some cases. Then you want to use Stand Strong, but you can't hold forward because you might get overhead. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll just back the fuck up. Maybe I'll throw a fan. Maybe I'll just jump back. Maybe I'll just crouch. I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna just chill right here. I think I'm good because I can't use crouch medium punch because it's just gonna miss because short range. It's like they made, like, all right, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna say it in advance. I'm gonna be that guy. I don't care what you play. I don't give a bleep about Street Fighter player, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about from someone who's played Mai for a hot minute. Her normals are just freaking goofy. Like, they made her normals goofy on purpose to make her be centered around just this one singular thing. Nah, her light normals are actually good. It's her medium buttons to her heavy buttons that it starts to get questionable. Where it's like, you took away so much. Right? You took away all this stuff, and it's like she's Chun-Li of her own game, and you made her this singular thing. Like, I even prefer Terry's buttons over hers, and I'm like, this feels more like what I know. When I was playing Terry, I felt comfortable. Even when his quote-unquote weaker state, he felt good. Yeah, she's designed by her EXs, and it's just like, you took a stand medium kick -4 on block. So let me meet you with this button that I'm gonna get punished for using anyway. Ruenbu -4. What is this? No jab EX Ruenbu. Okay. Are you crouching or are you standing? Oh, you're crouching. I guess I can't do this combo. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, Terry has good buttons. Don't say that out loud. You'll piss off a lot of people. Let's not say that too loudly. But anyway, I'm memeing, of course. Like, her air buttons are fine. Her lights are good. But like, you're pretty much a jab. She feels like she's just a jab monster. She's like, tickle me Elmo. Like, blah blah blah. Rienbu teehee. Jab stand jab teehee. Rienbu. And then like, everyone doesn't backroll your stuff, so it's like you can't really even play mind games around the tech roll. You just kind of like, all right, well, I see you sitting there. I guess I'll just not do a media. I'm gonna just chill. I guess I'll just back up. Kachosin. You still mashed anyway. Got it. So like, you're in this weird position where like, that's why I'm like, I don't really always agree that it's like, yo, just throw fan, because it's like, when I throw fan, I feel like I'm putting myself at a freaking dumbass 50-50. But then they'll just tell you, Joel, you just got to EX it. All right, I EX'd it. Okay, hold fan. All right, you got me. Like, you got me. Fair enough. Those are the ones I think that are worse than like EX Fan. And then the stuff that me and Terry were going over, I do agree. Her Charge Fan, her Charge EX Fan, those are actually really good. Too bad you gotta wait a millennia to throw them shits. You know? But I get it. This would be cheap because she can just drive rush behind it at the cost of 3 bars. So it's like, if I'm gonna use all this meter, then just make the charge move faster. But don't do that. You're gonna make her broken because broken, Maya's broken, EX Fan broken, Maya's broken, EX Fan broken. Because the thing Terry showed me, I will admit, this was actually really nice. The charge EX Fan against JP, that setup, that was nice. I will not take anything away from that. That was nice. So I see her doing well in that matchup because of that. And I always thought that was the case anyway. But seeing him execute it and seeing it visually, more than just regular toss EX Fan for the bounce, and seeing the charge fan with where they're behind her like sonic booms, that shit's sick. But it's like, hey, we can't give you this because this is too Guilty Gear, or this is too quote-unquote anime. This isn't Street Fighter, so Street Fighter, we gotta make it slower. Okay, fine, fair, whatever. But it feels like it's a bill. Like, they're not... Why would you sit full screen and let her do that? You know? It's like, it just feels bad. But is she really good? Yeah. She has a very, very high win rate across the board, across all regions. She's also very highly picked because they know I just chuck my fan and you can't throw your fireball. I think her EX Fan, the best thing about it is how you deal with other people's fireballs. But I think that like the things that make my are not present 100% in this game. They're present in like small portions. In some cases, City of the Wolves Mai is more fun, but when you get into like what makes her good in Street Fighter, it's like, well, she has a lot of control. Like, that's the thing I'll give Mai. Mai has a lot of control in Street Fighter 6. But like, I do feel like in some cases you can just big chill on some of her options and just be like, all right, you'll be okay. I don't think it's like a JP thing where it's like, well, you gotta guess, asshole. Yeah, let me well, ghost, overhead. Like, her damage off of her fan hitting you is, this just scales so hard. Like, in comparison to like a JP or something like that, where like, oh, you got mixed, oh, that sucks. And not to mention JP's not exhausting all this EX meter. So like, I don't know. But the contention for her being top 1 in some cases is laughable, and others it's like, I can see the case. I think I'm just split because it's hard to tell if she really is that good. And you know what I'm saying, Nash? Like, she's really good, but then like in some cases it just feels like, is it? Because she feels like she has like a predictable perfect parry situation. Like meaty, what I saw all the time from like the JP players, they'll do, if any player does charge jab fan in their face on their Oki, they perfect parry and sweep. Or they perfect parry and super, or they perfect parry punish into drive rush or some shit like that. And it's like, well, there goes that. Top 1 is crazy. I've been saying it. But you know, no results in Street Fighter. No. What does Kensou know? Guilty Gear. I'm gonna meme that and just say Guilty Gear. Right? Like, I'll admit I'm not the best Street Fighter player, but like, it's not hard to tell. Like, she's not like, you know what I think it is? It feels to me like the early stages of the character, like no one could tell if she was good, no one could tell if she was bad, and then like everyone dies to this one thing and they're like, there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do. It's like, there's nothing you can do? Alright. Is that so? There's nothing you can do? Like, it's really just you have to take this the entire time, and then like people are using other options, and I just question. And there's other my players where I translate a lot of their tweets, and like, for what it's worth, I did a lot of research on Mai. In learning Japanese in recent times and learning to translate stuff literally like on my own, and doing little translations and then seeing what they're saying and cross-referencing like what's been happening on this side and what the people on that side are saying about her. It's like there's a lot of people on that side of the world that are like she might just be overrated and all the pro players are complaining about nothing. That's funny. There's a whole blog of this Mai player that's like these pro players are overrating Mai. She's really good, but she's not as broken. She's not top 1. And they have a whole thing of like how to stop all her options. And I'm just like, huh? Really now? Funny. So it's interesting seeing even on that side of the world that they're complaining that the pro players, funny enough, are not checking her options. That is, do you know how funny that is to read at 4 a.m, Nash? Do you want to know how that shit it boggles my mind? And I'm like, over there, y'all believe this too? Crazy. Funny how that works. If one of people who don't want to learn, if you play to learn, then you can fight her comfortable. It seems that way. So like, it's very it makes it seem very questionable based on like, I don't know. I just feel like I've always been that person. No matter if you're a top player or not, I'm gonna question you. You can question me too, and that's totally okay. But I think it's always worth like, is it really that cut and dry? Is it really that you can't do anything about it? How is it that these guys are figuring it out? And I'm not saying they're perfect either. I'm not glazing Japan, but like, you have to understand, like, I legit took out more time to learn stuff while I'm editing and learning stuff, because I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't tell you I'm doing all of this off stream because that's just what I do naturally. It's just, I've watched a bunch of Alpha 3 tournaments recently. I watched a lot of the footage that the Japanese players say. I watch a lot of Japanese streams when I'm late at night, before I go to bed. And I'm seeing so many things that people are doing, and I'm also checking stuff that's being said in chat because thankfully I can translate Japanese now. And I'm just reading and I'm just like, wow. Maybe there's some cap there, right? Maybe that country could also be capping too, right? Maybe they're also wrong. I don't know. But like, it just seems like it's a mixed bag when it comes to Mai. Like, you can say she's broken, you can say she's top 1, you can say all of this, but I feel like everyone that got legend with her in the beginning, that character just blew everyone up for ignorance. I think that's the one character I've seen in this game so far where everyone has gotten legend and just blew everyone up because no one knew how to deal with the freaking fan. And I think as time has gone by, while we haven't seen too much of her, actually no, we saw, didn't Nephew try to play the character against what's his name, Knuckle Dude at Capcom Cup, and he was like, nah, I'm good. You can't do that. Oh yeah, for sure. I think, Terry, to be real with you, I think when we sat down and looked at stuff in Street Fighter that night, I think we got better exponentially in terms of how to deal with situations. Only one is Neff and Shine. Facts. Let me throw Chris G in the mix. But isn't it crazy, like, when you perfect parry the fan and you sweep, even though you get hit by the fan, right? You still get Oki. Funny how that works. You still get like a meaty safe jump. But that seems to be like the common answer, is like perfect parry sweep if you're too close. Otherwise they'll perfect parry into like supers, perfect parry into something that hits you in the drive rush. If you do like the medium fan, you can perfect parry drive rush the full combo. Like, it's crazy. So I'm like, like the last thing I saw recently was like, I think it was Padipawa, and he was playing Kimberly on the Beast TV thing, and it's Daigo and what's the Ken player from Japan? He's kind of squirrely with the glasses. He plays Akuma now. I can't think of his name. He was in top 8 of Street Fighter 5 the first year. He played Ken. He's like wild. Kind of crazy. Either way, they were all sitting there talking while Padipawa was playing, and they were talking about Mai, and it's just like, yeah, she's good. Eita, thank you, Narcom. Yeah, Eita. So they're all sitting there talking, and it's like, what do you think about Mai now? It's like, she's good, but she's like not that great. You have other options. Like Eita was like, nah, I'm gonna just play Akuma. And like, why? I was like, why would I play Mai when she has all these weaknesses? And I'm just sitting and I'm just like, ah, okay, really? For real? Like, I've done so much research from that side of the world about her because I'm just like, okay, well, I saw something recently where Angry Birds like, yo, top one. Guys, top one. Mai's broken. Best character in the game. Okay. Give it some time. Let's see what happens. Sure enough. And even Daigo's like, yeah, I thought she was insanely good. And then, like, over time, I'm just like, yeah, nah. Like, she's good, but she's not, like, the best. Nah. Eito's like, nah, I think it's Akuma. He's number one. And they're like, yeah, maybe some people think it's Ed. I think it's 100% Akuma. And I don't disagree. I don't need Eita to tell me the character's good. They had to nerf that motherfucker frame one. They had to nerf Akuma literally frame one. Air Fireball, too good. Sorry, bruh. You can't have that. And Air Fireball still silly strong. Whatever the small nerfs he got, they were somewhat justified. Then they nerfed with the Fireball, the hurt box on his hands. AB indirect downplaying Ken. I think that militia has been downplaying Ken for a hot minute, and I'm sitting here like him, Phenom, and them, and I'm just like, man, I know it's a meme at this point, and they just want him to stay good. Like, but I can't, in good faith, look at that and be like, just admit your character's good, and I think that they do, but it's just for the memes. But it does kind of give off the public expression that, like, you know, you're not that good, and then everyone's like, he's the worst Shoto. Meanwhile, Tokido does all this and this, that, the other. It's like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, do I think Mai's good? Yes. Top one, definitely not. Top five, I don't even know if that's even, I don't even know if she's worthy of that spot. But she does have a board wipe. That's for sure. I'm not going to deny that EX fan is definitely a board wipe. Do a Fireball, board wipe. I do think she does have a board wipe. She does have ways to force you into situations that you might not like. But I think the more people have gotten comfortable with her, I don't know if she's like I said, I couldn't give her top one. I think that top one propaganda was just getting pushed super hard because, like, people are trying to draw. It's just interesting how this stuff works with, like, the high level players, where they try to draw attention away from a character that they play or characters that they want to play. And it's like, I would hope that the devs just be, like, kind of smart about it and don't be like, well, maybe this guy's 100% right. Maybe we should do something about this. When there's other characters that could use some love. Or maybe they could give people more time to deal with it. Because certain characters, like, I'd say JP is probably the one character that probably did need to get touched initially. But since then, and they nerfed his anti-air, he was apparently pushed out of the, you know, they patched him out, then they patched him back in with the anti-air. So it's like he's in a sweet spot while still being pretty amazing. So, like, I don't know. I feel like he's in contention for, I think he's more or less number 2, while I think Akuma's number 1. Akuma just plays the game way too well. He plays the game way too well, in my opinion. So does Cammy. But I don't want to say too much about the tier list because some things are kind of obvious, like who's good. But I just think there's a lot of, like, attention. It's almost like, look over there, huh? And they run away, you know? It's like a now you see me, now you don't. I'm pulling some Houdini acts in terms of character strength. But, you know, either way it goes, I look at it from the standpoint now, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't care. I'm just gonna play what I like and just try my best to win if I can. If I can't, so be it, whatever. Because like I said, and I say this a lot of times people were telling me when I had my frustrations, oh, it's whatever, dude, you just gotta get better, you just gotta do this, you just gotta do that. So I feel like at this point in the game, it's like, well, I feel like everyone should be able to do that. It shouldn't just be me. You can call for nerfs and busts, but after a certain point, it just boils down to you. Because they can nerf your character, but if the character's nerfs are not to the point to where you need to switch, it's okay. Or if you feel like you can outplay people because you're just better, hey, there's nothing wrong with that either. It just depends on how you want to tackle your competitive journey. I think that's my approach to everything now. Is how you want to tackle your competitive journey is up to you. So with that being said, yeah, Mai's pretty good. She's pretty good, just not top 1. So that's how I see it. That goes for you guys here on YouTube, right? However you choose to play, right? Whether you're casual or not, Like, if you feel like you're just nice with it, then just keep work at it. You know, don't let anyone tell you that you're not nice with it. You could get better. You can always get better. If you're bad or not good at, always remember that's just temporary. It's not forever. Like, you're not forever gonna stay horrible. As long as you put in the right effort and you like ask the right questions with people, maybe play the right people, kind of work hard at whatever your craft is, whatever it is you think you're good at, your strengths are, get stronger with them, tighten up your weaknesses, be it defense, offense, doesn't matter. You can always get to the level you want to be at. Might take longer than others, but that just depends on you and your personal progression. They can't nerf you. I mean, that's how I feel too. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes people do excel with other characters though. That's a different story. Like some players I think are amazing with certain characters. Like if they like kind of readjust how they like approach certain things and they play in other characters, they do exponentially better because, you know, you could argue, well, this character's just better. Which always, like, if you pick the better character, obviously you're gonna have a higher chance of winning, obviously. You know, but like if you're super good with something and you can like express like your gameplay and push yourself that way, there's always that too. It just depends on if you want to do that for the money. Some people do it, some people don't. It's just on you. That's essentially it. Like, you can do it if you want to, but you have to want to. If you don't, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Can't tell you anything. I can't tell you nothing. But with that being said, that's my Bleach. I guess the long short of Bleach, I think it's a good game. I think, what's her name again? Tamsoft? They actually innovated arena fighters in my opinion. Like, I think it's a whole lot better than like what people give it credit for. Obviously people look at anime games in general and they're like, oh, this shit's trash. But I feel like they hit the nail on the head with something unique this time. And like, I'm looking forward to see how that game kind of pans out, because the online's pretty good. I don't really care for the story modes and stuff like that. That's for like the super hardcore anime people. I watched Bleach a long ass time ago, and I mostly stopped on the Arrancar arc. But I don't remember that either, unfortunately, because I watched it when it was first new. But like, I think it has some decent things in it that are like good, and I think that like it makes for a more unique fighting game experience that most people don't look out for. So I think like if they are to balance the game, touch up on those infinites and whatnot, touch upon all of like the broke stuff and the bugs and things, the game's online is pretty good for what it's worth. It feels like rollback. Like when it's great, 100%. But the lobby system is okay. Obviously it could use spectator mode. It like, these games need the stuff that general fighting games have, but the problem is they keep releasing these games as fighting games and not putting the general things that need to be in there. But the crazy part to me is the game has a robust training mode like a standard fighting game, which leads me to believe Tamsoft was definitely trying to make a fighting game here. They weren't just trying to make a Bleach game. They're trying to make a fighting game, because it's the first arena fighter I've ever seen, and maybe I'm wrong here, YouTube, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I haven't seen another arena fighter that offers a training mode features like that game. Like, you can select on block, on hit, on wake up, like reversal options. It could add more. Like, there's a few things you can add more, but you can also, it also has record and playback. So it's like, oh, okay. Generally speaking, when you use your normals and you whiff, you can't just mash the normals out, so you can actually whiff punish. So general fighting game stuff is there. There's some characters with rekkas, like what's his name? Regular Ichigo does have some sort of rekka on his kit. So like, yeah, he can whiff his rekkas and kind of do things like that. But in general, whiff punishing is there. The strike throw stuff is there. You know, throws have armor, which is interesting. You still take damage, so interesting. But for the type of game it is, if the throws weren't like that, I mean, they also have a dash attached to it, so you could hit them out of it. So it's like, there's a lot of give and take in the game. The awakening system's pretty cool. The win conditions are interesting. But I think they could open the system up a bit more, especially with the reverse, right? Like the reverse cancels, like those are pretty cool too. Like it takes so much inspiration from like Persona and like all these other Arxis games. Like just like I keep saying, just pull out the jank and it'd be cool. The point system, like the point stock system that you fight for, I think is cool. Like it gives you different objectives to play for. It isn't just like you know end up their life bar like low, get them to the red, and then play for like 2 points or 3 points. Like it makes you kind of strategize like in certain matchups how you want to approach winning. Obviously based on your awakening. Some characters awakenings are just super good, like the giants, like Renji and Komamura, Doggy Kruger, if you will. So I feel like those characters have some pretty crazy win cons. So I think they might have to kind of touch like the timer that they have for the boss fight mini game that they produce when they pop their Bankai. So it'd be cool if they kind of touch that a little bit. But like presentations, fire, combos are fun to do. Yeah, you can argue, oh, it's just mass square in some cases, but from playing Soy Fawn recently, you have to time all your stuff. A lot of her combos are timing based. Like if you mash, you screw up all your combos and you just kind of die. So there is a degree of execution. It's just it might not be to the degree of like motion inputs like normal fighting games and stuff like that, but like that's not necessarily a bad thing. So then the versus could put other arena fighters on notice if Bandai wasn't so focused on arcade. But I know it's the breadwinner for them in that space. Yeah, I can tell you from experience, like Jordan. So I've played Gundam versus in Japan arcades. That shit's fire. I've also played the Gundam battle pods. That's even more insane. Like that's probably the coolest. I can say from my personal experience, the Gundam Pod arcade cab is the coolest arcade game I've ever played in my entire life. That is an experience. And I'm very grateful I was able to do that when I did go to Japan for the times that I did go. I've been to Japan like twice. So both times I played it, it was like, wow, this is a game. this is a game. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. But as for Gundam Extreme Versus, it's just, I think those games are fire. I mean, I have Maxi Boost. Like, sorry, I don't put it on my YouTube channel for obvious reasons, right? But Maxi Boost is a really badass game. But it's just, it is true, Bandai Namco does treat Gundam kind of bad with their marketing. But it's just Gundam in Japan does so well that, like, we're lucky if we even get a Gundam game here in the first place. I was definitely someone who's hyped and very big on Gundam, Gundam Evolution. You know, the Overwatch game that they try to push. They let that go to the wayside for whatever reason. They cooked themselves on that game, which in a lot of ways I'm not surprised, but it could have been something great. But that tends to be the case with a lot of these games. All these things could be great if the right marketing, if the right people are involved and stuff like that, but like that's not always the case. How long did it take you to learn Japanese? I've learned Japanese on and off since like 2008. But it's just this year I started getting super serious with it, learning every day. But I haven't done things, honestly, in the last few days. Mostly last week, mostly because of all the stuff that's been happening in terms of the games and like content. So I try to do something every day Japanese, like listen to music, watch, the stream. Really watching the streams has helped me a lot. Watching all the Japanese streamers have helped me a lot, alongside getting used to reading kanji, reading hiragana and stuff like that. So like it's been getting a lot easier for me to understand what's happening. So I'm not just like a deer in headlights, like, oh, he said Nani, okay, he said what? All right, cool. I know that word. Now I'm like, okay, I know what he's saying. Like, oh, okay, I see. Like, I can't use a phrase at the moment, but like when I'm listening, I catch bits and pieces and I start putting stuff together. And then sometimes I'll see what chat says and I'll like read it and try to put it together based on what was being said. And I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Oh, okay. I get it. I see. So it's helped me a ton. But I would definitely say daily learning Japanese daily is like the best thing you can do if you really want to learn it. Literally. Like, learn some words, phrases. I have my books. I have my workbooks here. I haven't been using them though. I've been using apps that have been really helpful, but I know I need to sit through my workbooks a bit more. That's basically what I do. So here you go. What I do in my spare time when I'm not streaming and making videos, I spend my time learning Japanese and I'm using my workbooks, you know, or I'm using the apps. Like my notebook behind me, I have like a whole, like legit, like my pencil, all my stuff is all back there, all behind me. I mean, you can't see it, but I've been learning a lot. I read. I do a lot of stuff, dude. I do a lot of stuff. So like when I'm doing all this is when I try to watch match videos. I try to catch up on tournaments. I try to catch up on like things that are happening with tech and things like that. Like I'm only one person. I can't do everything all at once. So I prioritize what I'm trying to learn at any period, any given point in time. So like even right here when I'm streaming and stuff like that, sometimes on the side I'll like look at something maybe in Japanese and try to translate it or what have you. You know, or I'll get up, you know, banyo break and I'll like go learn something off the app in Japanese and then continue when I'm done streaming. Because sometimes when I'm done streaming, I literally would just go do that. And I'll spend anywhere to like 2 or 3 hours. And that's like max. Sometimes just more, no more than an hour to not like go over. Because it's a lot to take in and it's a lot to learn to like read and understand a lot of the times. But I can tell you for sure, definitely like daily, I try to immerse myself in something Japanese. And that thing has just been the streams. It's been super helpful. But you got to decide what that vice is for you. Whatever you choose. It could be music, it could be comics, it could be whatever you want. You just pick what that is and you just kind of go hard. But everyone learns differently, right? So that's just up to you. So, yeah. That's it. Nothing too crazy. But otherwise, Bleach, I think it could be something great. That's just me though. Let's see here. Texas Showdown. I don't have much to say. It happened. I didn't go. Needless to say. But hey, you know, it's cool. What the hell? But for all my friends who did go, you know, happy for them for doing what they did. You know, good on them. I don't really know much about who won or anything like that. Just it happened. Hopefully, if you guys did go, you had fun, and for those that placed, hopefully you had fun in your placements. This is actually the first Texas Showdown I didn't go to since maybe 2003. 03, I think was the first one I went to, and then from that point, I don't think I haven't missed a single one. This is the first time I decided to miss one. But a lot of that has to do with me not wanting to play certain games. I'm not like against Street Fighter 6. It's just, again, not enough time with my. But I know what I'm gonna hear. Yo, Kensou, you could have just threw fan and just, you know, made them guess. You know, but I chose not to do that. I have a thing for like just lack of like preparation. I just don't like being prepared, unprepared. The only argument is, well, it's in my backyard, so I could have just did it, but I chose not to. So, you do plan to learn, just gotta start and be consistent. I mentioned before, there's an app you can use to start learning Japanese, which is Memrise. You should definitely go check it out. I think that's better than Duolingo. You can use them side by side if you want. I tried using them side by side, but I think Duolingo isn't as, I don't think it's as strong, personally. But I think it's a good kind of starter, you know. What's the Alamiu? What it do? Duolingo's kind of ass. It's not that Duolingo sucks. Duolingo puts you through a lot of the same stuff on repeat. It's a good app. It's just it puts you on repeat. But Memrise, nah, that shit's peak. I think that's the best thing I've seen since Rosetta Stone. And I used to use Rosetta Stone to learn Japanese. I had classes in college, but I didn't like keep up with it. I had Japanese 1, but didn't keep up with it. Sadly, after that year. But I was like, oh, I can learn it on my own, and I did. But the problem with the Japanese that I learned is just like when you learn a different language and you don't have anyone to talk to in it, it sucks. And there's a desktop version of it. This is the app right here. Memrise. Yeah. MEMRISE. Yeah. It's mad good. It's so good. Trap Lord Huey put me on that shit, and I've never looked back since. That's my recommendation. You spelled it right. That's it. The icon's a little yellow icon that says memorize. It's super good. But I've been using that, and it's like goated. So if you want to learn the language, that's a good start. Hold on a second. Also, the Genki books. Let me see here. This is this. These are my workbooks, but like, there's also these. So I have Genki 1 and 2. So I've been using these a good bit, but since I got the app, I kind of stopped using these. But this is kind of what you use when you go to school. Yeah, this is what they use in the schools, especially in Japan. The language too? Yeah, it is. But like, this is super good. I ain't gonna lie. But like I said before, I haven't used this as much. My workbooks aren't as filled out. I just kind of read through certain things and then started using Memrise in between Duolingo. So I've gone between two apps and then the books. And then when I learn something, like I practice writing, I've done a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff in terms of learning the language. So like, I recommend, if you don't want to get the books, use Memrise and get you a notebook and write down the stuff that you learn. Just treat it like you're learning something. Just treat it like school, but you learn on your own time. Practice writing, get a hiragana chart, get a katakana chart, and just learn. Challenge yourself and be hungry for learning what interests you. Oh, for sure. No, I got you, Ukyo. You good. Yeah. Like, I'm learning the language again and getting back into it because, like, I feel like from a content perspective, there's a lot of things and perspectives that people have been missing out on in fighting games. So it's a big reason why I'm like learning it again. There's a lot. And I feel like we don't have enough of that. Like translated articles and things of that nature. There's some people that are doing it. Not enough though. So that's sort of my goal. It's also for like content. But it's mostly for myself, to be honest with you. For a multitude of reasons. But what can I say? In 1 year, if you do it every day, you can have a pretty solid fundamental. You can have some conversation. And this is me telling you from learning it back years ago and talking to Japanese players with the broken Japanese that I had, and even going to visit Japan. I had decent conversation. It's just difficult because like I didn't know certain words, and sometimes sentence structure was difficult for me. Now that I'm back into it and I'm learning more, I'm like, okay, I see things now. I understand it now. That's why when I'm like watching the streams and reading stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand. I see this. Okay, I see that. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, they're talking about this. So that's why I put my Street Fighter 6 in Japanese too, so I can just learn to navigate through reading stuff. So I understand like, okay, this is forward jump. This is neutral jump. Not just memorizing where things are at, but just reading it like, and I'll say it in my head mentally like what this is. Sometimes if I don't know, I'll go refer to my notes or something like that. So like I've been doing a lot of different things to make sure I can learn the language like and stay up to date with it. It's definitely some work, but in between going in between content for fighting games, my Marvel Rivals channel I need to just finish all my stuff with that. But the reason for that is, man, Premiere just kept crashing on me, dude. I've just finally got through all of that. sometimes editing right now is difficult, not because the editing process takes too long, it's because Premiere has been crashing. That's why you guys have kind of seen like a lack of content. For those of you on YouTube, this is why you guys are seeing kind of a lack of content. I haven't said anything about it on YouTube at all, but like that's why you haven't really seen much. It's because I'm constantly fighting with Premiere to not crash. Photoshop, no problem. Premiere, on the other hand, I had shorts. All right, YouTube, you guys don't know this, but I'll tell you now. I had literally stayed up one night from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. and I made like an army of shorts for my Marvel Rivals channel just for it to crash. It is the most infuriating feeling knowing you spent that much time on something just for it to crash. It is so sad. So like it seems like, oh, Kensou's being lazy about content. It's like I can't get Premiere to work. You know what I mean? And it sucks. I can actually demonstrate it for you guys. In fact, let me see here. Let me see if I can get this to work. I'll use this screen right here. A bit easier. So here is Premiere, and it was a TikTok one, right? You guys get to see it for yourself, right? Okay, I got through it this time. All right, now there's a short in particular that's over here. If I click on it, it's gonna crash. So all these things, so all of these here on this timeline and all these back here, these are all shorts, right? And then if I come in here, this top one here is, this is my camera, right? And all these, since they're on my camera, they have attributes. My camera's supposed to be up here at the top. That's what this one is. Now if I paste my attributes, watch what happens. This. All right, we won't send report. All right, cool, it crashed, fine. Let's reopen Premiere, no problem. No worries, we'll do it again, right? All right, we're here. Oh, that's right. And this happened to me for a while. So I couldn't just I didn't want to redo all of this. So it took me out. I was very, like, so all my Marvel Rivals content got put on hold because Premiere kept crashing like this. All my project files were doing this, and I had no fix. So every time I make a new project, I had to hope and pray that this wouldn't happen. Then eventually an update happened and kind of fixed this, but like those project files are still cooked. So no matter what, this will happen. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, bruh, Adobe, please. Adobe, please. I need to do this. I need to put out videos. I need to edit. So yeah, it's frustrating knowing that I put in all this work for an entire timeline with all these different things just for this to happen. So that would be why my channels have like had some issues in the most recent times, unfortunately. Because I know some people probably say like, oh, Kensou's being lazy. I'm not being lazy, dude. I have to fight with this program. So I don't know. And I don't like the other video editors. It has autosave though. It does. But the problem with it is, you see what happened when that error happened? That happened every time I tried to reopen it. So the way I fought that was I had to open it and immediately grab the playhead and move it over and make another and save over that one and make a new one. So that file has like 5 different recovery. Let me not say 5. It has at least 30 different recovery versions because that morning I was so pissed. I was so pissed that morning. I was like, dude, I had shorts for fighting games. I had shorts for mostly Marvel Rivals. So I'm like, dude, this is awful. And like, I couldn't find a single fix. Couldn't find a single fix. But I got through it. I eventually got through the nonsense and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm back to making content at 100%. So hopefully I won't have too many issues with Adobe. I'm still using the 2024 edition for Adobe right now because 2025 doesn't work with some of my plugins. Which Adobe, I'm not using. I don't like DaVinci. I do, but I don't. DaVinci has too many steps for no reason. That's why I haven't really used it. I haven't used DaVinci. It's good software, but I don't like all the extra hoops I gotta go through just to add a transition. I want to just click, boom. Not to mention I have a bunch of plugins. I have too many plugins for Adobe and too many project files that help with other project files. That I got project files on project files. I can't just move over. That's too many years of like. There's plugins I have that don't work anymore on other editions, and that's why I used to have After Effects 4 and 5 separately. Because there's some plugins that don't play nice with After Effects 5 and up, which sucks. Which is why Adobe's CS5 was one of the best suites, because there's so many badass plugins that are from the early 2000s and like mid 2000s. Like early 2000 to like maybe 2010 was really good. There's a lot of neat plugins. But like I can't use them in the later editions because those people haven't updated those to work with them, and not to mention how Adobe's updates have been. They just don't play nice with the older stuff, which is sad. So yeah, it's, you know, I'm doing a lot on the back end. I spend a lot of time making this stuff. So between like watching match videos, learning Japanese, editing, I'm doing like so much at once. It's like in some cases it's overload, but you know, me being me, I just try to do as much as I can without like overloading myself. But sometimes it's hard to not overload myself because I want to do so much. But I try my best to pace myself as much as I can. It's difficult, but you know, especially for those here on the YouTube side of things, you're gonna see a lot more. Can't believe that your first video was back in 2006 about KOF 11. Congrats, man. That was a great montage. To be honest with you, that video, you know, the funny thing about video editing and stuff like that, the biggest reason why I wanted to make videos, especially on YouTube in particular, was like I was always infatuated with combo videos, Ukyo. Always. I thought combo videos were just cool. So funny enough, I used to record all these crazy combos I would do for all these games on a VHS, but I had no way to transfer that shit over to YouTube. I didn't have a capture card, still like young and didn't have like any kind of major capital to be like, yo, let me get this capture card. And capture cards were still kind of new. They weren't like that big of a thing back then. Yeah, they weren't. And even then, that isn't even the first video I ever did. It was the chip 1301. That's the first video I ever did. But that wasn't uploaded on my YouTube at the time. That was like before YouTube. Funny how that works. I think YouTube was around at that time actually. But YouTube was used for mostly watching anime, to my knowledge, back then. Or at least as far as I can recall. But yeah, that chip 1301, that's the first video I ever did. And anything else, anything after that, I think the next thing from that point was the Vanessa video. And then everything else from that point just kind of kept going. But I made videos to try to like showcase all this fighting game stuff to be on Shoryuken.com. That was my motivation. Then eventually it turned into, you know what, this would be cool to just showcase more things that people are not paying attention to. And then it just turned into like, you know what, that's what I want to do. I want to keep showcasing things that people aren't looking at. Showcase like, I think a lot of things get overlooked in games, especially fighting games. And you know, rightfully so. Not everyone is like, I don't blame anyone because not everyone's creative or wants to think about said things. So like, I think that's kind of what my role is, to just kind of showcase certain things, right? Like, hey, you want to learn this character? Okay, I play this character. Hey, check this out, you know? And the neat thing about that KOF 11 video is it was featured on, before the current SNK website, it was a It was featured on SNK something back in the day, and then it was featured on a lot of different Chinese sites and stuff like that. So like, that video skyrocketed super hard way back when. So, you know, it was fun. You learn. The text I used on that was super abysmal though. That was back in my b-boy days when I was like, yo, Tagger fonts and stuff like that was super cool. I thought that was unique. Boy, was I wrong. Not readable. It's legible if you read Tagger. And that sounds crazy to say it like that, but like if you know, like if you understand like bomber text and how people use like, you know, spray cans and stuff like that, whatever. I don't know, I was always into that kind of stuff. I'm a big artsy guy. But I feel like I've talked about just about everything. Street Fighter 6 using that shit now though, that's a fact. That shit is fire. That shit is fire. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I've come a long way with YouTube and like content. There's still a lot more to do. I still believe in the more creative side of YouTube. I know like YouTube, especially nowadays, is definitely like kind of process stuff and kind of like following the norms. I did a lot of that last year, but I think like while it worked, I think the real issue for me is just daily uploads, to be honest with you. Like if I can manage to upload daily or like almost every other day, it'd be straight. So I was like, why not? Why not? Might as well. So that's what I'm gonna try to do moving forward. You'll see probably like, you know, as I already mentioned, City of the Wolves stuff. I'll still keep on Street Fighter, try to keep up to date with a lot of that stuff. Just bring whatever I can to the table for YouTube. So you guys will see it. As I mentioned, oh, my dog is scratching on the door. The goal is to just try to keep up the coffee talks like this, whether it's 2 hours. I think we're almost 3 hours now. Like, I want to keep up these little coffee talks and like keep them here on YouTube. Like I said before, this is going to be like the main archive. So you YouTube guys, you guys are going to be able to get this in this raw form that I normally do here on Twitch. Something that's really neat for you guys, and for those who are watching normally on Twitch that don't get to see it, don't want to watch on Twitch, just go to YouTube. So both of you guys, both audiences on both sides are going to be serviced. I think that's dope. So I'm honestly, I'm just kind of befuddled that I didn't do this before. But I was streaming on YouTube before, but like, it's weird. Like, YouTube streaming felt weird at first, and I don't know how to explain why it felt weird, but it felt weird. Now, nah, not so much. I think it's because I got used to doing it. Let me see. I feel you, yo. Trying to think, is there anything else I can discuss, anything else I can mention before getting up out of here? Because it's 5 o'clock and that means it is gym time. I skipped the gym yesterday because I was not feeling well. We gotta get back into the gym today. I gotta go get some gains, bruh. I think that's most of the topics I want to talk about. As I mentioned before, Coffee Talks will be here again. I'm gonna try to do them Mondays and Tuesdays and try to get as much content out in the week with that. I think that's mostly it, man. That's mostly it. I might try to come back on and play some more games later. It sucks that the beta for Fatal Fury is gone. Fatal Fury in a few weeks though. It's not that long from now. You know, maybe I'll abuse guard cancel command grab to beat some ass. But for YouTube, you guys, I got something for you guys in store. I have some sets that I played during the beta. There's way more gameplay. Coming for you guys, so sit tight. Tournament run is out. For on YouTube, tournament run is out. Feel free to go check that out. That is there. Twitch, you guys have it there in the pin section, so you guys can see that there too. We're gonna keep up this. We're gonna keep this trend up. keep this trend up as best I can. So more YouTube streams to come. With that being said, let me end it here. It's been fun. Good to see everyone here. See all your bright, shiny faces. Good to have nice discussions. But if you're watching on YouTube and not already subscribed to the channel or follow, whichever one you want to call it, forget what, yeah, YouTube calls it, subscribe. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know, this is going to be in the stream section or live section, so feel free, leave comments about the topics. I'll go back probably and see if I can like slice it up and maybe like make some individual videos for these for the week. We'll scatter them throughout. It's all good. It's all good. Maybe make some shorts. A lot of things can be done, so no worries. Again, those on Twitch, you can go to the live section if you missed it. If you want to see anything else, feel free, go check it out there. Yeah, I'm good. I've said a lot. Time to go to the gym. So, YouTube, I'll catch y'all later. Take care. I had something cool to say and it escaped me. But anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Y'all take care. Peace.